I transmigrated into a cultivator who had just survived the nascent soul lightning tribulation. Before I even had a chance to catch my breath, my cave dwelling was robbed by a golden core small-time thief. What's more absurd is that he ran faster than a dog. I almost couldn't catch up to him. In the Damu grassland, the wind and sand were as sharp as knives. The fatigue of having just broken through to the nascent soul stage had not yet dissipated. 2 soul fragments in my sea of consciousness were still merging. I hadn't even had time to examine this new body of mine, and my cave dwelling was stolen. A golden core small-time thief from the Tianxian continent took advantage of my unstable soul, and ransacked all the resources I used to consolidate my realm. Just transmigrated. Before my breath was steady, I was robbed at home. Frustrated, furious. Tianxian vermin, leave the things behind, and I'll leave your corpse intact. My voice, carrying the impact of a nascent soul, smashed directly toward the dark green escape light fleeing for its life ahead. He shivered violently, his speed slowing for a split second. In terror, a pair of cyan gold feathered wings unfolded from his back. That aura was definitely not an inanimate object. It was the living spiritual rhyme of a demonic bird. With a flap of the cyan gold wings, he instantly widened the distance. My pupils constricted slightly. A golden core thief actually possessed such a rare treasure. But a nascent soul cultivator has a deep foundation. The cyan escape light surged, biting tight and refusing to let go. Seeing he couldn't shake me off, he roared, and the cyan gold light around him was replaced by a scarlet blood-red light. A blood escape technique burning essence blood. Its speed was nearly teleportation. In the blink of an eye, it was about to rush out of the range of my divine sense lock. What an eerie escape technique. My heart was deeply shocked. Sure enough, those who steal things are exceptionally good at running, with endless life-saving measures. If I let him do this again, I would definitely be escaped today. Decision was made in an instant. I fiercely slapped my storage bag, and an ancient talisman covered in cracks appeared in my palm. Instant stealth spirit talisman, obtained by the original owner after a life of near-death experiences. Only the last usage remained. It can ignore spatial distance, and instantly move to the side of the target locked by divine sense. The drawback is that it shatters after use. Go! Nascent soul mana poured in frantically. Silver-white light exploded. The cyan escape light along with my figure disappeared instantly. Far away, inside the blood escape. Did I lose him? Damned nascent soul old monster, forcing me to use the blood light escape. My foundation is ruined. But, as long as I can survive, it's fine. He had just breathed a sigh of relief. At the very moment his heart relaxed, space 3 feet behind him rippled silently. I appeared out of thin air, pointing like a sword. A point of cyan cold light condensed at my fingertip, and stabbed lightning fast toward his defenseless back heart. Puff! His face froze. A broken murmur issued from his throat. How could this? His spirit faded rapidly, dying without understanding how I crossed that vast distance to appear behind him. My eyes were cold. My wrist shook. Violent mana poured in, instantly crushing his remaining vitality. Then I looked down at this body I had just transmigrated into, and then looked at the corpse on the ground. Robbed at home right after transmigrating. This opening is intense. In the distance, the wind and sand remained. I looted the corpse, and looked back in the direction I came from. That cave dwelling. Must go back to see if there is anything left. Finally solved it. If he had still escaped after this, that would truly be losing the face of a nascent soul cultivator. Luamo felt a slight sense of relief in his heart. To have such bad luck right after transmigrating. The mood was truly gloomy. Just at this moment, as Luamo was about to move, an unexpected change occurred. At the center of the dark green figure's brow, without any warning, a point of pure emerald green light lit up. Following that, under Luamo's gaze, something emerald green throughout, covered with strange textures on the surface like a pottery basin, actually fell out from his brow with a plop sound. Storage in the brain. This thought was like a thunderclap, instantly exploding in Luamo's sea of consciousness. The plots of countless novels from his past life flashed by like lightning. Aren't the standard gold fingers of protagonists, hidden deep in the sea of consciousness, revealed only after death? Could it be that this thief is also a fellow traveler? A chill mixed with surprise, and even a hint of absurdity passed across his back instantly. But Luamo quickly forcibly suppressed his churning thoughts. No matter what the background of this person is, or what kind of strange encounters he had, he is already dead at this moment. The urgent priority is to thoroughly erase the traces, and leave this ghost place. His eyes sharpened. Luamo no longer looked at the fallen green basin, quickly taking the storage bag. Immediately after, he flicked his finger. A wisp of scorching white transparent infant fire fell on the corpse. Sizzle. The corpse together with the splashed bloodstains, was instantly swallowed by the flames, making a crackling sound, turning into a handful of fly ash within a few breaths, dissipating into the void. Until this moment, did Luamo use a backhand motion to suck the small green basin into his palm. He no longer stayed. Put the small basin and storage bag into his bosom. The mana in his body driven. The cyan escape light lit up again, turning into a streak of flowing light, galloping towards the direction of the cave dwelling. The cave dwelling's barrier isolated the howling wind and sand outside, leaving behind dead silence and tranquility. On the stone platform, Luamo sat cross-legged, his face calm, his eyes sharp. Before him were the storage bag and the green basin placed side by side. Divine sense probed out, easily erasing the last trace of the weak mark remaining on the storage bag. At the moment his sight penetrated the internal space of the storage bag, even though Lu Mo had lived 2 lifetimes, and was steady in character, his breathing still stopped involuntarily for a moment, deserving of someone with a gold finger. This foundation is truly thick. The scene coming into view could be called a small treasure vault. First were the spirit stones piled up like a small mountain, exuding rich and pure spiritual energy. A rough scan showed, the quantity definitely exceeded tens of thousands. For any nascent soul cultivator in the Damu grassland, this is a staggering amount of wealth. Beside were dozens of jade bottles, with clear labels stuck on the bottles. Spirit gathering pill, foundation consolidation pill, spirit condensing pill, spirit rising pill, youth preservation pill, and so on. Magical treasures with inner spiritual light were also floating to the side by the dozens. Cyan swords, purple shields, ring-shaped ancient treasures, blood-colored broadswords, and so on. And jade slips of various techniques lying quietly. Cyan gang sword technique, great divine art, initial interpretation of 1,000 machine puppets, phantom disguise technique, heavenly gang array diagram, and so on. A black scroll, exuding an ancient and fierce aura originating from the same source as those gorgeous wings. Clearly, it was the secret method of the escape technique of the fused strange treasure. In the corner, there were several spirit beast bags with sealing talismans stuck on them, faintly revealing the aura and hissing of living creatures. Clearly some kind of spirit insect or spirit beast. In addition, some scattered rare ores and rare spirit herbs, and some miscellaneous talismans, materials, filled the storage bag space to the brim. Hiss. Lu Mo sucked in a cold breath, his eyes incomparably sharp. The fear and luck in his heart churned like a tide. Wing strange treasure, blood escape secret art, puppets, arrays, disguise, spirit insects. The wealth of this thief is so rich, and the means so eerie, it is simply unheard of. Fortunately, I was decisive, and used the last 2 instant stealth spirit talismans to kill him. Otherwise, if he had escaped, with his means and foundation, and if he were to make a comeback in the future, that would be paying back 100-fold. Lu Mo secretly rejoiced at his own decision. This was clearly very correct and wise. He counted his amazing harvest item by item. Every one of them was enough to make cultivators in the Damu grassland jealous and fight for their lives. Just relying on these is enough to make up for the huge cost of using the instant stealth spirit talisman, and even far exceed it. This thought made his tense heartstrings relax slightly. His gaze swept over the jade slip recording the phantom disguise technique. A cyan jade slip with an ancient style beside it caught his attention. Just as his divine sense scanned this cyan jade slip, buzz, the jade slip lit up with a pale cyan halo without warning. Following that, a line of tiny characters condensed from divine sense appeared on the surface of the jade slip, flickered 3 times, then faded like water ripples. People are gathered. 3 months later, assemble at the mark point. Deeply infiltrate Damu according to the plan. Below the characters, an extremely complex, drawn coordinate mark flashed and disappeared. Lu Mo's eyes suddenly became incomparably grave. People are gathered. Assemble. Mark point. This was clearly an assembly order for some secret operation. This person actually had accomplices. Could there be a gang operation later? And looking at the way this jade slip was triggered, and the secrecy of the information transmission, the organization behind it is definitely not ordinary. It seems things aren't over yet, he whispered, his voice carrying coldness. Temporarily suppressing this hidden worry, he finally turned his gaze toward the small basin that triggered everything, and right now still glowing emerald green. Storage in the brain, only revealing its true body after death. This is too fitting for some destined by heaven settings. Accidentally transmigrated to become a nascent soul cultivator. Accidentally killed a fellow traveler and obtained this strange treasure. Isn't this also destined by heaven? Everything is just right, isn't it? Lu Mo's eyes flickered, carrying a hint of inquiry and determination. He no longer hesitated, extended his right index finger, mana condensed at the fingertip, forcing out a drop of heart blood with a faint golden glow within the crimson red. Drip. The heart blood dripped onto the surface of the green basin covered with wooden textures. There were no 10,000 rays of auspicious light, no 10,000 streams of auspicious vapor. That drop of heart blood was instantly absorbed completely by the green basin, disappearing without a trace. Immediately after, those strange wooden textures on the surface of the green basin seemed to be injected with life, flowing with a trace of warm emerald green brilliance. Buzz. A weak and clear, blood-connected light connection, instantly established between Lu Mo and this green basin. At the same time, a profound and ancient stream of information, as if originating from the time when heaven and earth first opened, like a trickling clear spring, naturally surged into his sea of consciousness. Sovereign basin, contains the machine of creation, nurtures the spirit of all things, endless life. This short information was like a thunderclap, instantly exploding in Lu Mo's sea of consciousness, drowning out all thoughts, nurturing all things. His heart moved. Swish. That green sovereign basin in his palm instantly disappeared without a trace. The next moment, it was already quietly floating in the depths of his sea of consciousness, opposite to the nascent soul in his body from afar, exuding a warm ancient, as if containing endless vitality aura. Lu Mo opened his eyes abruptly, brilliant light erupting from his eyes like never before. This moment was completely replaced by ecstasy and shock. His gaze seemed to penetrate the rock walls of the cave dwelling, seeing the vast and boundless, yet desolate desolate and barren to the point of despair. Damu grassland outside, wind and sand like knives, spiritual energy as thin as a strand, vegetation withered, spirit veins severed, and at this moment, this sovereign basin floating in his sea of consciousness, told him, it can nurture all things, on this cursed land abandoned by heaven and earth, with all things withering. Lu Mo's heart had never beaten so violently. With this treasure, withered grass can become spiritual medicine, stubborn stone can gestate refined gold, sand and gravel can also become spirit soil. This barren and desolate Damu grassland, in his eyes, suddenly changed its appearance. Every withered yellow thing, what is it, if not a treasure waiting for him to transform? Just as Lu Mo was surging with emotions, and couldn't wait to verify this heaven-defying power of creation. Buzz! The barrier set at the entrance of the cave dwelling transmitted a subtle fluctuation without warning. Lu Mo's eyes suddenly tightened, his mood replaced by vigilance. His thoughts were like electricity. That sovereign basin exuding warm green light in his sea of consciousness instantly vanished without a trace, as if it had never appeared. The storage bag on the stone platform was also quickly put away by him. The next moment, his figure flashed, already appearing outside the cave dwelling like a ghost. Under the yellowish sky, violent wind and sand were still howling. A figure stood in the air, the crimson robe fluttering in the wind and sand, like a burning flame. This is the most distinct mark of the Qiang tribe of the Damu grassland. The visitor had a handsome face, eyes sharp like a hawk, exuding a majestic aura from his whole body, far exceeding the ordinary early nascent soul stage. It was actually the Chili Zhenjuan who ruled the Qiang tribe, a famous great cultivator at the peak of the early nascent soul stage in the Damu grassland. Lu Mo felt solemn in his heart. In his memory, he had once met this Chili Zhenjuan. Now, although he had formed the nascent soul, but facing such an old brand powerhouse, especially when he took the initiative to come to the door, he did not dare to be careless at all. Congratulations, fellow Taoist. A smile bloomed on Chili Zhenjuan's face, taking the lead to speak, voice loud. Although the Qiang tribe is somewhat far from here, but the anomaly of fellow Taoist breaking through to form the nascent soul was earth-shaking. How could she not know? Specially came to offer congratulations. His gaze swept over Lu Mo's body, carrying an undisguised look of scrutiny. Immediately the topic changed, meaningfully saying, fellow Taoist's formation of nascent soul this time is truly the fortune of the Gufeng tribe. According to the 10,000-year ancient rules of our Damu grassland, strength is respected. Fellow Taoist is now noble as a nascent soul Zhenjuan. After the divine temple sealing ceremony, you will be the undisputed leader of the Gufeng tribe. At that time, the whole Gufeng tribe will surely respect you as the master. Lu Mo cupped his hands in return, expression calm, neither humble nor arrogant. A bit of luck, not worth mentioning. Fellow Taoist Chili came from afar. I failed to welcome you from afar. It's a discourtesy. Ha ha ha. Fellow Taoist is too modest. The formation of the nascent soul, how can the word luck cover it? Fellow Taoist's talent and perseverance are both extraordinary. Chili Zhenjuan laughed loudly, then changed the topic again and said, however, fellow Taoist's breakthrough this time had quite a stir, and I'm afraid I'm not the only one who noticed the anomaly here. Lu Mo's eyes moved slightly. These words of Chili Zhenjuan, on the surface were reminding him that the stir was too big and attracted attention, but internally it carried probing and warning. Damu cultivators have a fierce folk custom. Resources are scarce. Even among nascent souls, they are not a monolithic block, and there is hidden competition among tribes. He was hinting that he, a new nascent soul, especially one who is about to take charge of the Gufeng tribe, will inevitably become the focus of some attention. Or, is he harboring ulterior motives? Thank you for the advice, fellow Taoist Chili. Lu has just ascended to this realm, and is not yet familiar with the Damu nascent soul fellow Taoists and the situation of various tribes. In future dealings, I will naturally be cautious, Lu Mo said without changing his expression. Chili looked at Lu Mo deeply, then nodded and said, as long as fellow Taoist knows what you are doing. Alright, Chi's congratulations have arrived. It's inconvenient to disturb further. Fellow Taoist still needs to calm your heart and consolidate your realm. Farewell. After speaking, the crimson escape light flashed. The person had turned into a crimson rainbow, disappearing into the yellowish horizon in an instant. Lu Mo watched the red light fade away, his eyes profound. A few days later, the news of Lu Mo forming the nascent soul soon spread throughout the entire grassland. The divine temple stood at the highest point of the wilderness, built from huge black basalt, crude and vicissitudes, exuding an ancient and barbaric pressure. The huge entrance was like a giant mouth of fangs devouring light. Outside the hall, on the vast black stone square, 10,000 cultivators prostrated, from Qi refining to foundation establishment, all maintaining a dead silent awe. Among them, the tribesmen wearing clothing with unique patterns of the Gufeng tribe were even trembling with excitement, eyes burning, looking toward the temple gate. Nascent soul cultivator is the living legend and pillar of this barren wilderness. Lu Mo wore a black robe, dark golden storm patterns embroidered on the sleeves, posture upright like a spear, standing in front of the temple gate, accepting the kowtow of 10,000 cultivators. Break the chasm, condense the nascent soul, is the fortune of Damu, the pillar of all living things. The star god envoy's voice was like a decree. According to ancient rites, self-sealing Dao title, Qing Jin Zhenjuan, the star god envoy's gaze swept over the prostrating 10,000 cultivators, voice shaking shaking heaven and earth. From this day on, Qing Jin Jinjuan Luo takes charge of the Gufeng tribe. As the master of the Gufeng tribe, within the jurisdiction, all living things and all matter are all ruled by him. Can build your own cave dwelling. Command 10,000 cultivators. Offerings from the territory. Defend against the invasion of foreign enemies. Paying respects to Qing Jin Jinjuan. Sound waves like mountains calling and seas roaring erupted instantly, rushing straight to the heavens, overwhelming the eternal wind and sand, especially the cultivators of the Gufeng tribe. The sound was even filled with fanaticism and a sense of belonging. After an incense stick of time, until the ceremony was over, 10,000 cultivators respectfully retreated like a tide. Several nascent soul leaders representing different tribes gathered to offer congratulations. With red hair and curled whiskers, wearing the Qiang tribe's iconic red robe, Chili Jinjuan's smile was as hearty as ever. Ha ha ha, fellow Taoist Qing Jin. Congratulations, congratulations. Taking charge of the Gufeng tribe. It fits the name perfectly. The Qiang tribe and Gufeng tribe regions are close. You and I in the future should get closer. It should be so. Luo Mo responded with a smile. A burly man with small electric arcs jumping around his body sounded like a bell. Fellow Taoist Qing Jin. No need to be modest. Lei Zhen of the Quanglei tribe admires. Breaking through to nascent soul at such a young age, and taking charge of a tribe. The future is promising. Immediately after, a middle-aged man wearing a gray-white wolfskin cloak, with a gloomy face and eyes sharp like a hawk, stepped forward a few steps. Unlike other leaders, his tone carried a hint of displeasure. Congratulations to fellow Taoist Qing Jin for promoting to nascent soul, and becoming the leader of the Gufeng tribe. However, this leader of the Gufeng tribe is not easy to be. Fellow Taoist, take care of yourself. Luo Mo looked at the leader of the Zhanglang tribe with a calm expression. His face had no waves, only slightly nodded, tone equally plain in response. Thanks to fellow Taoist Zhanglang's auspicious words, Lu will definitely do my best. The other few nascent soul leaders also stepped forward successively. All offered congratulations. Luo Mo handled them one by one, steady and measured, showing the etiquette of a new nascent soul, without losing the dignity of a nascent soul. But he was meticulous. Under the polite greetings on the surface, those secret telepathic messages, vaguely carrying hints of solicitation, allowed him to instantly capture the subtlety within. Under this seemingly harmonious scene, undercurrents were surging in reality. In a place where resources are scarce, between tribes, between nascent soul cultivators, it is definitely not a monolithic block. One more nascent soul tribe leader means one less share of the already thin gruel, and one more variable. However, above the head, there is the star god envoy. This peak nascent soul late-stage great cultivator sitting in town, controlling the overall situation. It's just that no one dares to do anything rebellious or overstepping. As long as the bottom line of Damu's foundation is not touched, the god envoy will not interfere too much. Until the sealing ceremony was over, 10,000 cultivators retreated, and nascent soul leaders also left respectively. Just when Luo Mo was about to return to the Gufeng tribe, fellow Taoist Qing Jin, wait a moment. A rough voice sounded from behind. It was exactly Lei Zhen Jinjuan of the Quanglei tribe. Luo Mo stopped, turning to look at this hardy burly man. Lei Zhen strode over, grinning, lowering his voice a bit and saying, fellow Taoist Qing Jin, do you know why the Zhanglang of the Zhanglang tribe was unhappy with you just now? Luo Mo raised his eyebrows noncommittally, waiting for the follow-up. Lei Zhen chuckled, explaining, that old guy is holding back fire in his heart. You don't know. The previous leader of the Gufeng tribe died in battle some years ago. The Gufeng tribe had been leaderless, became a piece of ownerless fat meat. On this grassland, who doesn't want to occupy more territory? And the Zhanglang tribe's strength is not weak. That guy Zhanglang had long been watching like a tiger, privately moving quite a bit, just thinking of finding an excuse to swallow the Gufeng tribe. But who would have thought? Fellow Taoist Qing Jin, you appeared out of thin air, and formed the nascent soul without a sound. And you are also a righteous Gufeng tribe person. According to our grassland's iron rule of strength being respected, this seat of the Gufeng tribe leader, isn't it naturally the pocket object of you, a new nascent soul? You say, seeing the meat at his mouth fly away, can he not be angry? Lei Zhen's laughter carried a bit of schadenfreude, but also clarified the key points. Luo Mo instantly understood. It turns out that his taking charge of the Gufeng tribe also unintentionally blocked the path of the Zhanglang tribe. The situation on this grassland was indeed complex. So that's how it is. Luo Mo's expression did not change. Only a hint of realization flashed in the depths of his eyes. Thank you fellow Taoist Lei Zhen for telling me. Small matter. Fellow Taoist Qing Jin, if you have time, remember to come to my Quanglei tribe to sit. Lei Zhen waved his hand. Lightning flashed around his body, turning into a thick arc of thunder and breaking through the air. Luo Mo stood in place, watching the thunder disappear. Took another deep breath of air carrying the scent of wind and sand, completely concealing all complex microlight in his eyes, only remaining steady and calm. Immediately also turned into a cyan escape light toward his territory. Gufeng Plain. This territory located in the southwest of the Damu grassland, because its terrain is relatively high, possessing numerous large and small valleys. Environment compared to other areas of the grassland turned out to be relatively superior. Spiritual herbs grow in the valley from time to time, although far from being as rich as the Tianxian region. But on this barren wilderness, it can already already be counted as a rare piece of land with abundant spiritual energy. Precisely because of this, the Gufeng tribe became the fat field coveted by strong neighbors like the Zhanglang tribe around them. Lu Mo's promotion to Nascent Soul this time, and taking charge of Gufeng, truly belonged to accidentally picking up a territory with a good foundation. Not only that, the moment Lu Mo stepped into the core territory of the Gufeng plain, he clearly felt a vast and ancient power originating from the earth vaguely blessing himself. This power, although not manifest externally, but made the nascent soul in his body more solid, and the operation of spiritual power was also a bit smoother. He understood in his heart. This was the protection and blessing of the Damu grassland's holy object to the sealed nascent soul Zhenjuan. As long as he was within the territory he governed, his strength would receive this mysterious increase. This is undoubtedly another important reliance for him as a master of one side. Relying on a natural huge black rock cliff barrier, the Gufeng tribe's core stronghold was built here, including tens of thousands of tribesmen, tens of thousands of chi refining stage cultivators, thousands of foundation establishment stage, and even hundreds of golden core cultivators with either strong or weak auras, formed the backbone of the Gufeng tribe. This was the foundation of the tribesmen under Lu Mo's command. Inside the main mansion, the atmosphere was solemn. Lu Mo summoned dozens of golden core cultivators to the mansion. Lu Mo sat on the main seat, eyes scanning the crowd again, getting straight to the point. This Zhenjuan takes charge of Gufeng, must reward merit and punish faults. This is the gift of meeting. Before the words fell, he flicked his sleeves. Dozens of streams of light accurately flew to every golden core cultivator present. Everyone subconsciously caught them. What they held were warm jade bottles. The seal at the bottle mouth slightly opened. Refreshing medicinal fragrance instantly permeated the entire main mansion. This is the condensation yuan pill, and also pulse consolidation pill? Exclamations rose one after another. All golden core cultivators widened their eyes, unbelievably looking at the pills in their hands. In this resource-scarce Damu grassland, these pills that are of great benefit to golden core cultivation, each one is extremely precious, enough to make cultivators of the same rank fight for their lives. This new leader's first summons actually provided one copy per person with such heavy rewards. Ecstatic and shocking emotions instantly replaced all doubts and wait and see. The way they looked at Lu Mo added more heartfelt enthusiasm and submission within awe. Some pills help you stabilize your cultivation. Lu Mo's tone was still plain, but the dignity of a nascent soul Zhenjuan permeated like substance, instantly suppressing all noise. This Zhenjuan has words in advance. Those who serve wholeheartedly and make meritorious services, the rewards will only be thicker. But if there is double dealing, lax in duties, or even damaging the interests of the tribe, his words paused. A cold and piercing killing intent flashed and disappeared. Under the nascent soul dignity, you should know the consequences. Follow the true monarch's decree. Subordinates will definitely try their best. Loyal to the true monarch. Revitalize Gufeng. Dozens of golden core cultivators, including those several late-stage golden core cultivators, right now without the slightest hesitation, knelt on one knee collectively, voices loud. This new leader, strength is unfathomable. Making moves is even more magnanimous. Following him, future is bright. Who dares not to try their best? Lu Mo nodded slightly with satisfaction. Gaze finally locked onto a golden core late-stage cultivator with a firm face, steady aura, and a hint of shrewdness in his eyes. You, come forward. That cultivator's heart was shaken, hurriedly stepped forward a few steps, again deeply bowing. Subordinate Zhao Fu, paying respects to true monarch. Zhao Fu. Lu Mo read his name, tone irrefutable. From this day on, all daily affairs of Gufeng Plain will be temporarily handled by you. If not for nascent soul invading, not for the disaster of shaking the foundation of the tribe, no need to bother this true monarch. If anyone refuses to obey the deployment, and dares to make trouble, no matter who it is, just report to this true monarch. Zhao Fu heard this, heart jumping wildly. This is what kind of trust and power. He forcibly suppressed his excitement, solemnly and incomparably received the order. Subordinate receives true monarch's decree, must dedicate all efforts, not fail true monarch's entrusted task. If there is any error, willing to offer my head. Lu Mo nodded slightly, waved his hand. All retire. Yes, subordinates retire. Everyone respectfully saluted, quickly retreated. The entire core management layer of the Gufeng tribe, under Lu Mo's combination of grace and power, had already initially gathered. After everyone left, Lu Mo's figure instantly disappeared from the main mansion. The next moment, he had appeared in the northwest of the Gufeng plain, above a huge valley surrounded by ring-shaped black cliffs. In the valley, spiritual energy was significantly richer than the outside, forming a relatively stable spirit vein. Inside the valley, although not covered with spiritual medicine, but scattered and sparsely grew many spiritual herbs and plants of shallow age, types different, radiating vitality. Compared with the barren wilderness, this place can be counted as a small green oasis blessed land. Good place. Light flashed in Lu Mo's eyes. This place has abundant spiritual energy, environment hidden, and natural spiritual herbs growing. It is the perfect place to use the sovereign basin. The Damu grassland is not as rich as Tianxian, but with the heaven-defying creation artifact sovereign basin, the spiritual herbs in this valley, in the future will be the top resource treasure vault that he can take endlessly and use endlessly. He had no nonsense. Between the waving of his hands, dozens of array flags waves exuding mysterious fluctuations hissed out, accurately shooting into the rocks around the valley separately. Buzz! A layer of invisible formation light curtain, incomparably vast and separating inside and outside, instantly rose, thoroughly covering the entire valley along with the spirit vein beneath it. Hidden, powerful restrictive force permeated, enough to make cultivators below Nascent Soul look from afar. Nascent Soul cultivators also difficult to spy on easily. Immediately after, Lu Mo selected the most solid, spirit-gathering rock wall on the mountainside, pointing like a sword, fierce and incomparable sword energy crisscrossed and cut, stone fragments flying. After a moment, a cave dwelling inside simple but unusually solid, containing several stone rooms, had already taken shape. The cave entrance was set with layers of restraints containing grim sword intent, corresponding with the outer peripheral great formation, solid as gold. Inside the cave dwelling, silent, only pure spiritual energy flowing slowly. Lu Mo sat cross-legged on the stone room center futon, thoughts completely condensed. Deep in the sea of consciousness, a warm green flowing light shot out, turning into that sovereign basin that was warm and restrained, full of vitality, quietly floating in front of him. The strange wooden texture of the basin body seemed to contain the source of life, flowing with profound creation brilliance. He flicked his robes. Dozens of spiritual herbs of different shapes and shallow age were lifted by invisible force, floating above the sovereign basin. Thoughts moved. The sovereign basin's emerald green brilliance instantly restrained, immediately fiercely spreading outward, soft and vast to the extreme. Vitality halo, like the fountain of life of substance, instantly gently and thoroughly wrapped these dozen spiritual herbs in it. Time flies. Several months of time quietly passed in the cave dwelling. In the center of the cave, Lu Mo stood quietly. In front of him, dozens of spiritual herbs floated quietly, each one with full shape, spiritual light flowing, exuding rich medicinal fragrance that makes people feel relaxed and happy. Their leaves were thick like emerald, petals crystal clear like beautiful jade, roots knotted like dragon whiskers, flowing with pure and vast spiritual essence all over. Actually all were top-level spiritual medicines that reached several thousand years of age. The purity of their medicinal power, the stability of their origin, far exceeded peers that grew naturally for thousands of years. Several months ago they were all useless withered grass, but under the continuous nourishment of the sovereign basin, they returned from the dead, completing an astonishing transformation. Lu Mo's gaze swept over these dozen glowing millennium spiritual medicines, feeling the endless creation might of the sovereign basin in his sea of consciousness. Eyes profound, moonlight as guide, withered grass becomes millennium divine medicine. With this divine object in hand, I don't even know how to write the word scarce, just relying on the divine effect of the sovereign basin, to continuously nourish and cultivate more, even reaching 10,000 years of top-level spiritual medicines. Relying on these is completely enough to stabilize his early-stage nascent soul realm. How difficult it is for a nascent soul cultivator to stabilize and improve the realm. Wanting to progress through 100 years of hard work or even longer are all common things. The sovereign basin is enough to save him 100 years of hard work. At this time Lu Mo's heart moved. The sovereign basin and those dozen glowing millennium spiritual medicines instantly disappeared, taken back into the sea of consciousness and special jade boxes. Buzz! Because the formation outside the valley suddenly transmitted a fluctuation. Lu Mo's brows frowned slightly. Divine sense instantly probed out, only to see outside the formation light curtain. Zhao Fu's figure was standing respectfully, with a hint of solemnity and anxiety on his face. Lu Mo waved his hand, withdrawing part of the restriction. What's the matter? His voice transmitted through the formation, carrying the dignity of a nascent soul cultivator. Zhao Fu hurriedly bowed, voice carrying urgency, reporting to True Monarch. Deep in the west, a team of 12 Foundation Establishment Patrol disciples were swallowed by an eerie force. Subordinate attempted to break that evil restriction, but ability was not enough. Having no choice, only dared to come to request True Monarch to take action to decide. 12 Foundation Establishment disciples swallowed. Lu Mo's eyes tightened suddenly. He already took charge of Gufeng Plain. As a master of one side, cultivators under his command died or wounded, especially possibly involving threats to the safety of the entire stronghold. He could not sit by and watch. Lead the way. Not long after, a cyan escape light wrapped Zhao Fu. In an instant spanned hundreds of miles of wilderness, hovering above the west of the Gufeng Plain. In the valley below, dozens of stationed cultivators were already ready to face the enemy. Seeing the escape light descend, immediately separated like a tide, exposing the area they surrounded in the center, exuding ominous aura. Lu Mo and Zhao Fu landed. Under their feet was a relatively flat black rock ground, but in the center of this rock ground, actually branded a pitch-black formation map with a diameter of a zhang, distorted and complex lines. The formation map did not know what material was drawn with. Color dark. Residual dark brown mottled traces remained at the edge. A rich bloody smell was permeating from the formation map. True Monarch. It is here. Zhao Fu pointed to the pitch-black formation map and said in a deep voice. Those Foundation Establishment subordinates were swallowed by this formation map. After speaking, lingering fear remained in his eyes. Clearly that backlash force made him still have lingering fear. Lu Mo did not speak. Powerful nascent soul divine sense covered the entire formation map. The lines of the formation map clearly enlarged in his sea of consciousness. At the core of the formation map, residual spatial fluctuations fluctuation and rich bloody aura, silently verified Zhao Fu's narration. Following that, cold light flashed in his eyes. Single hand waved out several streams of crimson gold light. Dozens of array flags engraved with scorching sun patterns, accurately nailed around the pitch-black formation map. Boom! Crimson gold light erupted suddenly. A scorching formation map instantly unfolded in the void. The formation map emitted scorching purification power, like the noon-proud sun. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The evil aura in the area was covered, like meeting a nemesis, quickly dissipated and purified. The pitch-black formation map surface began to distort violently. Countless tiny runes disintegrated under the burning of the scorching sun power. Crack, crack. That's seemingly indestructible. Evil formation map that even late-stage golden core cultivators could do nothing about, under the crushing of the scorching sun formation map, actually collapsed and dissipated like paper paste. Where the formation map disappeared, a pitch-black hole without a bottom was exposed. Inside the hole, dark and profound, exuding an incomparably rich cold and bloody aura, a weak suction force came from the hole, rolling the surrounding dust. Broken, broken. True monarch is mighty. This is the means of a nascent soul true monarch. Witnessing this scene, all cultivators including Zhao Fu could not help but gasp, their minds shaken. The evil demon formation, in front of the true monarch, was actually as fragile as a clay dog. The might of a nascent soul cultivator is truly terrifying. But Luo Mo turned a deaf ear to the exclamations around him. His entire mind already locked onto that exposed pitch-black void. Nascent soul divine sense probed into it without reservation, like an invisible tentacle, rapidly spreading downward. The further down it went, the richer that aura became, as if intending to erode the soul. Divine sense vaguely perceived that a massive karst cave space seemed to exist below. The source of the evil that swallowed the foundation establishment cultivators seemed to be lurking in the deepest part of this chilling and dead silence. Zhao Fu, Luo Mo withdrew his divine sense, and instructed in a deep voice, lead people to seal this rift valley. Within a radius of 10 li, absolutely no one is allowed to approach. Those who trespass, kill without mercy. This subordinate obeys. Zhao Fu replied with solemnity, immediately turned around, and sternly ordered his men to set up defense. Luo Mo no longer spoke. The cyan protective spiritual light around his body circulating slightly, took one step forward, and his figure instantly submerged into that bottomless pitch-black void, disappearing without a trace. Upon entering the void, bone-chilling coldness instantly rushed toward his face. Viscous evil energy was everywhere, carrying a nauseating aura, madly impacting and eroding the protective spiritual light. Luo Mo flew downward along the steep cave walls. The further down, the more expansive the space became, and the temperature dropped as if in an ice cellar. Finally, his feet landed on solid ground. Before his eyes was a huge underground karst cave beyond imagination, with the vault hanging high, strange rocks jagged, countless sharp black stalactites hanging upside down, the surrounding rock walls presenting an ominous pitch-black luster. What a place of ultimate een and ultimate evil. Luo Mo's eyes tightened. With a movement of his mind, the mouth of the spirit beast bag at his waist opened slightly. Buzz. Dozens of crimson gold points of light like exploding sparks were flying wildly, emitting a dense and harsh buzzing sound. Wherever they passed, the air twisted, actually leaving traces of subtle charred burn marks on the hard dark iron rock walls. These points of light were all insects, crimson gold in color. In appearance, mouthparts cast like molten lava, flapping wings bringing up scorching ripples. This insect is called the gold-burning insect, ranked 27th on the strange insect ranking. Cruel in nature, gregarious, its carapace harder than refined iron. Mouthparts can spray crimson gold flame breath that melts gold and iron. Mature insect swarms can erode high-grade magical treasures. Afraid of extreme cold, fearful of strong sounds, fed with fire attribute spirit minerals and spirit herbs, growing slowly, requiring special techniques to control. This was obtained from that dark green cultivator, only needing the fire-controlling golden chapter insect control technique, which Luo Mo had already mastered. They have keen perception of evil energy, at this moment turning into countless dark gold streams of light, drilling into every crevice of the rock walls, every shadowy corner, beginning a blanket search. But just as the gold-burning insects were searching, Siege, an extremely obscure, lightning-fast chilly aura, suddenly flashed and disappeared from the depths of the rock wall. That aura carried a kind of evil intent that was neither alive nor dead, instantly drilling into the deeper parts of the rock wall, attempting to escape. Playing God. Get out for this true monarch. Fierce light erupted from Luo Mo's eyes, locking onto the direction where the aura disappeared, pointing like a sword, toward that pitch-black rock wall several zhang thick. He slashed fiercely in the air. Siege, a terrifying cyan sword gang condensed out of thin air, carrying the terrifying might to sever mountains, instantly slashed onto the rock wall. Boom! The pitch-black rock wall, hard as refined iron, was split open without resistance by the cyan sword gang like rotten wood. Broken stones shot toward both sides like a rainstorm. In the filling dust, a huge crack only enough for one person to pass, with edges smooth as a mirror, was forcibly slashed out. The dust slowly dissipated. Luo Mo stepped into the crack. The scene before him, different from the chilly and filthy karst cave outside. This was a stone room about 10 zhang square. In one corner of the stone room, placed a simple stone bed carved from a whole piece face of black stone. In the other corner, was a stone table of the same material. On the table seemed to still remain some traces of decayed wood shavings, as if something like a wooden box had been placed there before. The most eye-catching thing was the center of the stone room floor, depicting a small spirit-gathering formation map that had long been dim, but whose outline could still be seen, although the formation lines were mostly damaged, and spiritual energy had long dissipated. But its meaning for existing goes without saying. This place, absolutely not naturally formed. This clearly is a ruined residence where someone once lived, and even practiced in seclusion. That remaining spirit-gathering formation map was the most powerful evidence. Playing God, swallowing the essence blood of cultivators under this true monarch. Give you 3 breaths. Get out. Otherwise, this true monarch will let this small place, together with that lingering thought of yours, all turn into fine powder. Lu Mo stood with hands behind his back. The vast pressure of a nascent soul cultivator erupted and pressed down, solidifying the space of the entire stone room. The air emitted faint, unbearable explosions. The dead silence lasted for 2 breaths, just as Lu Mo's eyes turned completely ice-cold. In the corner of the stone room, the void above the remnants of the spirit-gathering formation map, violently twisted without warning. Dense and inseparable chilly death energy was pulled by an invisible force, from the stone walls, ground, and even infiltrated from the void in threads, madly gathering. Cold winds wailed. Temperature dropped to the freezing point. In the blink of an eye, a blurry, semi-transparent human silhouette condensed and formed in the surging gray-black airflow. It had no clear facial features, only the general outline of the head and torso, the whole body exuding a heart-palpitating cold aura, like a mass of condensed broken soul, body of a remnant soul. The cold light in Lu Mo's eyes became even more intense. That gray-black human silhouette swayed slightly, issuing a dry and hoarse voice. The tone was somewhat helpless. Why must this fellow Taoist be so angry? Didn't this old man come out? The voice was drifting and uncertain, as if coming from the depths of the 9 serenities. Humph. Lu Mo snorted coldly, his gaze sharp and reaching its core. No wonder you had to use that low-level blood sacrifice evil formation, to swallow the essence blood of living people to survive. It seems your remnant soul is also nearly exhausted. Can't hold on much longer. He directly pierced through the other party's biggest secret and weakness, having his foundation pierced by a single word. The aura of the human silhouette fluctuated obviously, seeming somewhat angry, but quickly forcibly suppressed it, continuing to use that hoarse voice to say, since the fellow Taoist has seen through it, old man also does not need to waste words to argue. Correct. The essence blood of those foundation establishment juniors was indeed swallowed by this old man, used to maintain this remnant soul from scattering. Since that is the case, Lu Mo's voice suddenly turned cold, carrying a murderous intent. He said, then, let your form and spirit be destroyed. Crimson gold light surged all over his body, a terrifying sword intent capable of tearing the soul, instantly locked onto the remnant soul. Wait, fellow Taoist, suppress your anger. Between you and me, why go this far? The remnant soul issued a sharp and urgent hiss, its illusory body fluctuating violently, like a flickering candle in the wind. Old man observes that fellow Taoist's aura is steady. Pressure is vast. Must also be a pillar of my Damu grassland. As fellow Damu cultivators, watching and helping each other is the right principle. Why must we fight among ourselves, making Tianxian vermin laugh at us? Damu cultivator? Lu Mo's eyes moved slightly, capturing the key information in the other party's words. This remnant soul was actually a Damu nascent soul cultivator while alive. His vigilance not only didn't decrease but increased, but on the surface, he remained calm, voice still ice cold. This true monarch gives you 2 choices. 1. Speak out your true identity, and the reason for laying down the blood sacrifice restriction here, harmfully killing cultivators under my command. 2. This true monarch will send you to complete liberation now, saving you from committing more murders. The moment the words fell, the destructive sword intent locking onto the remnant soul suddenly strengthened several times. The air in the stone room, as if completely drained, invisible pressure, made the outline of the remnant soul begin to twist. Disperse. 1. Lu Mo spat out the first number coldly. The fluctuations of the remnant soul intensified instantly, the hoarse voice carrying obvious horror and anger. Fellow Taoist, you are too overbearing. Old man was also a Damu nascent soul while alive, guarding one side. Even if my body died and spirit vanished, remnant soul trapped here is also not someone you can kill at will. Can't we just talk properly? 2. Lu Mo's voice had no temperature at all. As the second finger fell, at the moment the word 2 fell, killing intent exploded in Lu Mo's eyes. He didn't give the remnant soul any chance to delay. That trace of flickering cyan sword gang suddenly surged, turning into a death-taking cyan light tearing the void, carrying the will to cut and destroy the soul, shooting toward the core of the remnant soul. He counted to 2, and had already attacked, simply too lazy to wait for the meaningless 3. The remnant soul issued a sharp scream of disbelief and rage. It never expected the other party to be so unconventional, so decisive in killing, without even giving the last bit of bargaining opportunity. Junior, do you really think this old man is afraid of you? Go to death. Pushed to the brink of desperation, the remnant soul went completely crazy, its illusory body violently expanded, issuing a shrill roar. The chilly death energy of the entire stone room and the karst cave outside was madly extracted by it. Thick gray-black airflow like like ink gathered like a tsunami, instantly condensing in front of it into a giant ghost figure standing several zhang tall, with hideous features, fangs exposed, exuding monstrous resentment. The ghost figure roared, wrapped in chilly wind and filthy soul power, waving giant claws, fiercely welcoming that cyan sword gang, attempting to use all its remaining strength to shake the nascent soul might head-on. Mayfly shaking the tree. Lu Mo's eyes were cold, only a hint of disdain at the corner of his mouth. Siege. Cyan sword light and the ghost figure's giant claws collided violently. No earth-shaking loud noise, only a tearing soft sound. That giant ghost figure that seemed fierce and monstrous, condensed from countless wronged souls and purine power, in front of the terrifyingly condensed sword gang, was easily torn apart like rotten wood, pierced through. Violent sword intent erupted instantly, like 10,000 tiny cyan thunderbolts raging and cutting wildly inside the ghost figure. The ghost figure issued a silent wail. Its massive body, like a punctured balloon, instantly exploded and dispersed, returning into ink like surging gray-black airflow that had lost its spiritual nature. The sword gang's momentum did not diminish, like a maggot clinging to the bone, instantly pierced through the scattered ghost residue, stabbing toward the remnant soul outline at the rear core. No, the remnant soul issued a scream of extreme despair. It felt the fear of true death. The destructive power contained in that cyan sword light had absolute suppression on its soul body. Its bit of remaining spiritual wisdom collapsed at this moment, issuing a crazy scream. Stop, you can't kill me. I am Master Xianyu. Master Xianyu? Cold light flashed in the depths of Lu Mo's pupils. He had heard the reputation of this master, a nascent soul cultivator who defected from Damu, slaughtered fellow robes, stole the divine temple's secret treasure, the profound Yin Pearl, and fled without a trace. Xianyu. Lu Mo immediately sneered. So you are the Master Xianyu who stole the profound Yin Pearl, betrayed Damu, was heavily wounded by the god envoy himself, and disappeared for hundreds of years like a stray dog. Xianyu's remnant soul trembled violently, as if poked in its counterscale. Betrayal? It's the god temple that failed me. It's that they can't tolerate my profound Yin refining god Dao. That profound Yin Pearl was supposed to be the foundation of my Dao path. It violently pointed at Lu Mo. Ghost fire poisonous. It's you. This place is my Master Xianyu's cave dwelling. You are the one who trespassed into my residence, and dared to slander me as a traitor. Your cave dwelling? Lu Mo sneered. Sinner of Damu, hiding your head and tail for hundreds of years. This place has long been an ownerless desolate ruin, and you dare to claim it as your territory? Laughable. He took a step forward. Nascent soul pressure like a substantial iceberg crushed down. The giant mana net sealing the space tightened suddenly. Xianyu's remnant soul issued a painful howl. Its form became even more unstable, constantly having microparticles collapse. As for you hiding here, not daring to step out for hundreds of years, Lu Mo's gaze was like lightning, voice cold. I'm afraid it's not because you don't want to, but because you can't, right? Profound Yin Pearl backlash, or the old wounds from being heavily wounded by the god envoy back then, have already made this remnant soul of yours unable to leave this Yin evil cave, or you would completely dissipate. Xianyu's remnant soul's howl stopped abruptly. A hint of panic flashed in those ghostly green ghost fires. Lu Mo's words, every word like a knife, pierced straight to the key point. Just in this desperation, Xianyu's remnant soul's voice changed abruptly. Fellow Taoist, listen to me again. It forcibly suppressed its fear, speaking at a very fast speed. Since you have already achieved nascent soul, presumably you know better than me. This Damu grassland, bitter, cold, and barren. Spiritual energy is as thin as a desert, without heaven-defying opportunity. Wanting to go a step further, peeping at a higher realm, is no different from a pipe dream. Its illusory body tried hard to stabilize, voice carrying a kind of seductive fanaticism. Old man has long set up dark chess in the Tianxian continent, operating for hundreds of years, just waiting for my remnant soul to recover, and using the power of the profound Yin Pearl to redescend upon Tianxian. I will surely be able to occupy a territory, and plunder rich resources. Fellow Taoist Lu, you and I are both born from Damu. As long as you stop here today, and form an alliance with me, in the future in Tianxian, there will surely be a place for you and me, with fellow Taoists' talent. Borrowing the foundation of Tianxian, go a step further, even reaching the late nascent soul stage, is definitely not a lie. Why waste time in this barren land, squandering years? Xianyu's voice was full of urgent temptation. However, responding to it, was the suddenly erupting from Lu Mo's eyes, even more chilling and bone-piercing murderous intent. Your suggestion is very good. You can go die now. No, Junior, you are seeking death. Xianyu's remnant soul issued a desperate sharp scream. Its final temptation was mercilessly crushed. It violently urged its remaining soul power, attempting to self-destruct, to pull Lu Mo to die together. Just at this moment of life and death, hiss, roar, a roar containing infinite anger, suddenly exploded from behind the pitch-black rock wall in the depths of the karst cave. The entire karst cave trembled violently. Boom! The rock wall exploded. A massive, cold-to-the-bone white shadow rushed out fiercely. That was a giant python, entire body covered in palm-sized, crystal clear, like 10,000-year profound ice rhomboid scales, head hideous, forehead growing a single ice crystal horn, ghostly blue vertical pupils burning with crazy anger, deadly locking onto Lu Mo. Its body length exceeded 10 zhang. The terrifying terrifying ferocious might actually reached the third-order peak. Frost Giant Python, sensing the master's mortal crisis, desperately rushing out to protect Little Frost. No, run quickly. Xian Yu's remnant soul issued a distorted scream. He is Nascent Soul. You are no match for him. However, inside the Frost Giant Python's ghostly blue vertical pupils, only desperate madness remained. It opened its bloody mouth, a stream of ice crystal, carrying the terrifying low temperature that freezes the soul, roaring and spitting out. Facing this terrifying breath capable of severely injuring a peak golden core, Lu Mo's eyes had no fluctuation. Evil beast. His gesture of pointing like a sword remained unchanged. That trace of cyan cold light suddenly surged. A terrifying cyan sword gang, arriving later but reaching first, facing the ice crystal stream and slashing fiercely. Siege. The cyan sword gang split the ice crystal stream into two, instantly vaporized. The sword gang's momentum did not diminish. Fast as lightning, accurately slashed onto that ice crystal horn of the Frost Giant Python. Crack. A crisp sound. The ice crystal horn, harder than refined iron, was actually forcibly slashed in half. Hiss. Roar. The Frost Giant Python issued a tragic hiss. The pain of the broken horn stimulated its ferocity, desperately swinging its giant tail covered in ice edges, fiercely sweeping toward Lu Mo. At the same time, the ice crystal scales all over its body stood up, countless sharp ice cones shooting out like a rainstorm. Obstinate. Lu Mo snorted coldly, left-hand robe sleeve flicked. Dozens of condensed sword energy, again accurately and ruthlessly shooting toward the giant python's twisting body. Puff, puff, puff. Ice crystal scales shattered. Blood and ice dregs splashed. Hiss. The Frost Giant Python's massive body stiffened violently. Violent demon power instantly became sluggish. The madness in the vertical pupils was replaced by pain and fear. No, Little Frost. Xian Yu's remnant soul issued a desperate mournful cry. It's over. Lu Mo's eyes were indifferent, no longer looking at the giant python, the hand pointing like a sword, finally, toward the despairing remnant soul group in the center of the space blockade, gently pointed down. No, I hate. Xian Yu's remnant soul issued a final sharp scream filled with infinite resentment. Puff. The cyan sword light instantly submerged into Xian Yu's remnant soul. That human silhouette, like ice and snow thrown into the scorching sun, instantly dissolved silently, vaporized. 2 points of ghostly green ghost fire flickered violently for a few times, issuing a sobbing whine that was weak to the extreme, extinguished completely, dispersed. Damu traitor. Once a nascent soul cultivator, Master Xian Yu, the remnant soul was completely annihilated. In the depths of the karst cave, only the intermittent painful hissing of the Frost Giant Python remained, its massive body twitching slightly. Lu Mo withdrew his finger, looking neither at the dissipation place, his gaze turning to the Frost Giant Python whose joints were pinned by sword energy. It's a loyal beast. His voice was cold, mind moving slightly. Spirit beast bag appeared, bag mouth unsealed. Dozens of crimson gold light points buzzed and flew out. Gold burning insects. Under Lu Mo's divine sense manipulation, they instantly dispersed, turning into a crimson gold light net, covering the painfully stiff giant python. The scorching and violent aura formed an invisible cage. At the same time, Lu Mo formed seals with both hands. Powerful nascent soul mana instantly hit into the giant python's body, forcibly suppressing the violent demon power, turning into chains and tangling its demon soul core. Suppress. The gold burning insect light net closed, cooperating with the suppression. The Frost Giant Python struggling stopped completely, its body stiff as an ice sculpture, only weak breath remaining. Lu Mo waved his hand, and took it back into the spirit beast bag along with the gold burning insects. Seal. Immediately his gaze swept over the place where Xian Yu dissipated and the depths of the broken rock wall. The clues to the profound Een Pearl, perhaps still there. Having solved the Xian Yu remnant soul, Lu Mo's divine sense scanned the entire cave, focusing on those corners with the heaviest Een energy. The profound Een Pearl. This thing is of ultimate Een and cold, must be hiding in the place with the most sufficient Een energy. Very soon, divine sense caught a trace of abnormal chill in the depths of the pitch-black rock wall at the end of the karst cave. That chill seemed to have life, carrying a bit of weak suction, constantly pulling the sparse Een evil energy around toward it. Right there, Lu Mo walked to the rock wall. Earlier the Frost Giant Python broke the wall, knocking out a big hole, broken stones and sand crystals falling all over the ground. He pointed and slashed. A condensed cyan sword energy shot out silently, cutting inside along the rock wall. Siege. A rock the size of a millstone, pitch black like ink, cold, was carved out completely by the sword energy. In the center of the rock, embedded a bead the size of a pigeon egg. The bead is neither gold nor jade, texture warm and moist, color deep ink blue, flowing with ghostly light like water waves on the surface. Threads of gray-black Een energy were being slowly sucked into it from all directions. Profound Een Pearl. Lu Mo reached out and summoned. The bead fell into his palm. A pure, cool, and bone-penetrating chill instantly permeated, as if a mouthful of ice spring was poured down in the dog days of summer. The feeling was unusually comfortable. It really is a good thing. This bead is a rare supreme treasure for nourishing the soul. Only needing to carry it with him, the soul will be like soaking in nourishing spirit liquid, nourishing and strengthening at all times. That Xian Yu must have relied on this bead to nourish his remnant soul every day, to be able to survive until now, without letting the remnant soul dissipate completely over time. After taking the profound Yin Pearl, Lu Mo's gaze swept over the deep passage revealed behind the rock wall hole. Divine sense probed in. The space inside was not large, like a simple stone room chiseled out. In the center of the stone room was a stone table, on which lay several scattered jade slips and several black-looking, human outline mineral stones. In the corner, also casually thrown half a section of withered tree root-like thing, gray and inconspicuous, not attracting any attention. Lu Mo stepped into the stone room. The jade slips on the stone table. One recorded the complete, profound Yin technique. The technique was eerie and chilly, specializing in soul and Yin evil power. Clearly the foundation of Xian Yu's profound Yin refining God Dao. The other few were auxiliary secret techniques, including the Yin puppet refining form technique for refining and controlling Yin puppets, and some insidious escape techniques, poison techniques. Yin puppet. Lu Mo picked up a piece of black mineral stone and weighed it, heavy and cold in the hand, faintly having Yin energy circulating. This mineral stone is called Yin evil iron. It is exactly the core material for refining Yin puppets. The mineral stone outlines beside it clearly were half-finished Yin puppets that Xian Yu failed to refine or hadn't completed. He casually collected these materials and jade slips. Mosquitoes are small but are still meat, maybe will be useful in the future. His gaze finally fell on the half-section of withered wood in the corner. Divine sense scanned over. Ordinary, not even a trace of spiritual energy fluctuation, just like rotten wood that had been struck by lightning and burned by fire countless times. Lu Mo originally didn't care, but just as he was about to turn and leave, the emerald green sovereign basin in his sea of consciousness actually trembled extremely slightly. Lu Mo's footsteps paused violently, his eyes instantly sharp as a hawk. Sovereign basin has a reaction? This thing is definitely not ordinary. He immediately squatted down, carefully picking up that half section of withered wood, light in the hand. The wood texture had already carbonized and decayed. A little force could pinch off broken slag, but when he concentrated, exploring a trace of nascent soul mana extremely slowly, and gently into the interior of the withered wood, buzz, a stream of extremely weak, yet seemingly able to soothe the origin of the soul's life aura, responded extremely difficultly, although very weak, but the essence of that aura made Lu Mo's heart shake violently. Soul-nourishing wood. This inconspicuous rotten wood actually is the legendary Soul Dao's supreme treasure. Soul-nourishing wood. Even if only half a section of remnant body remains, the origin is almost exhausted. Its miraculous effect of nourishing and repairing the soul also far exceeds imagination. No wonder the sovereign basin would have a reaction. Xian Yu, oh Xian Yu. Lu Mo couldn't help but sigh secretly. This old fellow, guarding the profound Yin Pearl and Yin evil energy, but fate was not good, happened to have only half a section of this wood. If he had a whole intact soul-nourishing wood in his hand, relying on this thing to take root in the Yin evil place, nourishing day and night, never mind repairing this bit of remnant soul, even seizing the house and being reborn would be highly possible. Unfortunately, he only had this half section of dead remnant remains, origin exhausted. Even using it as a fuse was considered insufficient, could only be thrown in the corner like garbage waiting to die. His mind moved. Without hesitation, he sent this half section of soul-nourishing wood into his sea of consciousness, suspending above that emerald green sovereign basin. Buzz. The sovereign basin seemed to have met what it truly craved. The emerald green textures on the surface instantly came alive, flowing out rich and warm radiance like substance, gently wrapping the withered wood. The carbonized and decayed impurities on the surface of the withered wood, under the moisture of the green light, actually peeled off slowly at a speed visible to the naked eye. A stream of pure soul power fluctuations carrying vitality started to recover extremely slowly from inside the withered wood, strengthening. It's done. Lu Mo felt settled in his heart, although the nourishing speed was far less than spirit herbs, but the origin of this half section of soul-nourishing wood was indeed starting to recover under the great power of the sovereign basin. Given time, must be able to reappear the style of its Soul Dao supreme treasure. Withdrawing his mind from the sea of consciousness, Lu Mo took a final glance at this stone room filled with chilly aura. Xian Yu's family foundation could be considered emptied. Immediately his cyan escape light flashed again. His figure had disappeared from the original place. The next moment, directly appeared before the previously broken rock wall karst cave. He stepped into it. With a wave of his hand, several powerful restrictive and protective restraint spiritual lights flickered, instantly thoroughly sealing this area. In the depths of the karst cave, only absolute silence remained, and that half section of withered wood suspended above the emerald green sovereign basin, which was slowly fading away decay and radiating new soul light. Lu Mo sat cross-legged, profound Yin Pearl pasted on his body, clear and cool nourishing the soul. His mind was calm, while paying attention to the transformation of the soul-nourishing wood, while taking out those few half-finished Yin puppet embryos and the jade slip recording the Yin puppet refining refining form technique. The Yin evil energy here is rich. Space is also broad enough. Lu Mo's divine sense scanned over the empty vault and jagged ground. Truly an excellent place for cultivation and exploring this Yin puppet Dao. He sank his divine sense into the Yin puppet refining form technique, started to comprehend the profundity within. At the same time, splitting a wisp of mind, invoking the pure Yin evil energy in the karst cave, slowly injecting it into one of the cold Yin evil iron embryos. Gloomy luster flowed on the surface of the iron embryo, emitting a subtle buzzing sound. This cold and huge karst cave, at this moment became his secret place to digest gains and improve strength. Profound Yin pearl nourishes the soul. Sovereign basin revives soul-nourishing wood, and he started to try to transform the legacy left by Xian Yu and that Tianxian golden core, truly into strength belonging to himself. 2 months later, the friction at the border between Damu and Tianxian continued as always. West of the Gufeng Plain, a chaotic stone gobi filled with yellow sand, became a temporary battlefield. War cries, sound of magical treasures colliding, ear-piercing and tragic. Zhao Fu was covered in blood. The dark iron armor was full of dents and traces of ice frost burning. His eyes were scarlet red, holding a mountain-opening giant axe, deadly locking onto the 3 Tianxian cultivators fleeing in a panic ahead. Those 3 were all late-stage Foundation establishment, wearing standard cyan gray magic robes, on their chests embroidered a small ice sword emblem, clearly disciples of some sword cultivation sect. Tianxian vermin, leave your lives, Zhao Fu roared. The giant axe slashed out a condensed yellow light, directly chopping toward the back heart of the one falling behind. Puff! That person's protective spiritual light shattered in response, blood spraying from his mouth, falling to the ground. Seeing he couldn't survive, the other 2 were so scared their souls flew away. The escape light even brightened a bit, desperately burrowing toward the depths of a stone forest. Chase! Don't let them run. Zhao Fu was killing and blinded, leading the remaining 7 or 8 subordinates, plunging into the stone forest. Inside the stone forest, strange rocks were jagged, passages narrow and winding, light dim. After chasing no more than 100 zhang, Zhao Fu's heart jumped violently. A trace of extremely chilly, carrying intense murderous aura, suddenly shrouded from all directions. Bad. Ambush, Zhao Fu warned sternly. Giant axe sweeping, earth yellow gang wind protecting his whole body. Swish, swish, swish. Several incomparably condensed ice blue sword energy shot out from the stone bamboo shoots above the head. The shadows of the stone walls on both sides, angles ruthless, taking Zhao Fu and his subordinates' vital points. At the same time, the thick sand crystals on the ground also turned into quicksand traps, instantly swallowing 2 chi refining cultivators who rushed at the front, even without a chance to issue a scream. Form array. Zhao Fu's eyes were about to split. The giant axe danced into a wall of yellow light. Dang, dang, dang. Ice swords collided with the axe light, exploding with bone-chilling cold energy, shaking his arms numb. The subordinate cultivators also successively sacrificed defensive magical treasures, barely resisting, but the array formation was in chaos. Everyone was injured. 3 figures rushed out from behind the stone pillars like ghosts. The leader, with aura steady as a mountain, actually had mid-stage golden core cultivation. He held an ice crystal long sword, eyes indifferent as frost, followed by 2 early-stage golden core cultivators with slightly weaker auras. The 3 were in a corner posture, surrounding Zhao Fu and others in the middle. Damu barbarians, indeed can run. The leading mid-stage golden core cultivator's voice was cold, carrying a sense of arrogance. Unfortunately, it ends here. Kill them. He pointed with the long sword. Even sharper icy cold sword energy was ready to fire. Zhao Fu felt cold in his heart, actually ambushed 3 golden cores. The remaining one was only a late-stage golden core, also carrying a few injured and tired Foundation establishment, falling into this desperate land, unable to escape. A sense of despair surged into his heart. Just at this moment of life and death, a cold, dead silent, and heavy as a mountain terrifying pressure, descended without warning. This pressure was not aimed at Zhao Fu and others, but made all cultivators on the scene, including those 3 Tianxian golden cores, feel their souls tighten. Following that, 3 blurry black shadows, squeezed out directly from the deep shadows, silently appearing behind the 3 Tianxian golden core cultivators. The silhouette of those black shadows was barely distinguishable as human, pitch black throughout, as if condensed from Yin evil energy, surface flowing with dark metallic luster. They had no 5 senses, only 2 points of scarlet light lit up at the head position, filled with pure killing will. Yin puppet. The leading Tianxian mid-stage golden core cultivator reacted the fastest. Without thinking, backhanded a sword. The ice crystal long sword erupted with blinding cold light, piercing directly at the black shadow behind him. Dang! A deafening sound of gold and iron colliding. Ice crystal long sword pierced the Yin puppet's chest, actually only splashing a trail of fine broken sparks. The attacks of the other 2 early-stage golden core cultivators also landed on the Yin puppets behind them. The results were equally futile. The 3 Tianxian Golden Core cultivators' faces instantly turned deathly white, eyes filled with unbelievable terror. What is this thing? The defense is actually so terrifying. Before they could recover from the shock, 3 Yin puppets moved. No flashy moves, only the purest, most violent slaughter. Speed fast as ghosts. That leading Yin puppet ignored the ice sword in its chest, a dark metallic luster giant claw, with a sharp whistle of tearing air, straight out gouged toward the mid-stage Golden Core cultivator's heart. That cultivator's soul was terrified. Wanting to draw the sword to block was already too late, could only frantically drive the protective spiritual light. At the same time, his body desperately leaned backward. Siege, la. Protective spiritual light was easily torn to pieces like thin paper. The pitch-black chilly sharp claw fiercely grabbed his chest. Puff. Mid-stage Golden Core cultivator, like hit by a heavy hammer, body flew backward like a broken sack, fiercely hitting a huge stone pillar behind, softly sliding down, life and death unknown. At the same time, the other 2 Yin puppets also launched attacks. Their movements were simple and ruthless. No! 2 sharp and desperate screams sounded almost simultaneously. Facing this monster that ignored defense, had terrifying power, and extremely fast speed, 2 early-stage Golden Core cultivators couldn't even offer decent resistance. One head exploded like a watermelon. The other chest was pierced by sharp claws. Instantly died. Seconds. Absolute suppression. All of this happened in a flash of lightning. 3 aggressive Tianxian Golden Cores, 2 dead and 1 seriously injured in a single encounter. Hiss. The surviving few Gufeng Plain cultivators sucked in a cold breath, looking at those 3 pitch-black figures, eyes filled with shock and ecstasy. True monarch. It's true monarch who came. Zhao Fu trembled with excitement, shouting hoarsely. Except for that mysterious true monarch Qing Jin, who else could drive such terrifying, never-seen-before killing weapons? The morale of the Gufeng Plain cultivators instantly ignited, while the remaining few Tianxian Foundation establishment cultivators were already scared out of their wits, complexions deathly pale, looking at those 3 Yin puppets that slowly turned around and scanned with scarlet eyes, as if seeing soul-hooking messengers. Even the strength to run away was scared away. What kind of evil things dare to kill my profound ice sword sect disciples? Suddenly a sharp roar of anger mixed with fear exploded from above the stone forest. Terrifying nascent soul pressure erupted and descended, instantly pressing down the chilly death energy emitted by the Yin puppets. A blinding ice blue escape light tore through the wind and sand, descending from the sky. The light faded, revealing a middle-aged Taoist wearing an ice blue Taoist robe, complexion cold and severe, carrying an ancient ice crystal long sword on his back. His gaze was like electricity, instantly sweeping across the 2 dead and 1 seriously injured sect members on the ground, and then staring at those 3 eerie Yin puppets. The murderous intent in his eyes almost condensed into substance. Nascent soul. Zhao Fu's heart sank. The ecstasy just raised instantly replaced by huge pressure. Just at this moment, a calm and indifferent voice seemed to resonate in everyone's ears. My territory. Kill a few blind vermin. Still need to report to you Tianxian vermin. Following the sound, a cyan escape light appeared silently in front of Zhao Fu and others. Escape light dissipated, exposing Lu Mo's figure. He was still in that black robe, complexion calm, but his aura was more condensed and profound than 2 months ago, vaguely exuding a sharp edge that made people shudder. True monarch. Zhao Fu and others respectfully saluted in excitement. The Han-Ling Zhenjuan of the profound ice sword sect looked at Lu Mo like a knife, instantly locking onto Lu Mo. Damn nascent soul. You are the leader of this Gufeng Plain, driving such evil things, killing my sect members. Today must make you pay with your life. He was furious to the extreme. The ice crystal long sword in his hand issued a clear dragon singing, automatically unsheathed, suspended in front of him. Terrifying cold energy instantly permeated. Even the wind and sand seemed to be frozen. Pay with life? Lu Mo snorted coldly. Then see if you have this ability. Before the words fell, his mind moved slightly. The 3 standing Yin puppets, scarlet eyes instantly locked onto Han-Ling Zhenjuan. At the same time, Lu Mo pointed like a sword. A cyan sword gang condensed to the extreme, carrying the sharp edge of tearing everything, stabbing directly at Han-Ling Zhenjuan's heart. Han-Ling Zhenjuan snorted coldly. Ice crystal long sword blue light flourished, turning into an ice dragon to meet the cyan sword gang. At the same time, his hands formed seals. Countless ice crystal prisms appeared out of thin air, layers upon layers protecting in front of him. Boom! The cyan sword gang and ice dragon collided fiercely, exploding with blinding light and terrifying shock waves. The ice dragon whimpered and collapsed, although the cyan sword gang dimmed by more than half, but still momentum did not diminish, fiercely stabbing onto the ice crystal prisms. Crack, crack, crack. A series of crisp cracking sounds rang out. Several layers of tough ice crystal prisms were instantly pierced by the sword gang. Han-Ling Zhenjuan's face changed slightly. His figure flashed, avoiding the sharp edge of the remaining sword gang dangerously. However, just at this moment, those 3 Yin puppets had already pounced like lightning. Pitch-black sharp claws, heavy iron fists, carrying the whistling of tearing air, fiercely attacked from 3 tricky angles. Fast speed, violent power, completely ignoring their own defense. Han-Ling Zhenjuan was surprised and angry. He had never seen such a fighting style. style. These ghosts' defense is ridiculously strong, simply cannot be beaten. He could only recall the ice crystal long sword, turning into a dense ice blue sword curtain to protect his whole body. Dang, 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 bang. Sharp claws. Iron fists clashed crazily with the ice blue sword curtain, ear-piercing gold and iron clashing, like a sudden rain. The Yin puppet's attack was heavy and powerful. Every collision shocked Han Ling Zhenjuan's blood gas to tumble, protective sword light fluctuating violently, and Lu Mo's sword gang, cooperating with the Yin puppet's fierce offensive without fear of death, actually suppressed him to retreat continuously, in a sorry state. How is it possible? Han Ling Zhenjuan's heart set off a stormy sea. When did this Gufen plane produce such a ruthless character with eerie means and amazing lethality? If he continued to fight, Han Ling Zhenjuan glanced at the remaining few, already scared out of their wits Foundation establishment disciples below. A thought of retreat arose. The other party clearly didn't use full strength, and this place is the other party's home field. Continuing to entangle might have variables. Humph. The hatred of today. Profound Ice Sword Sect recorded it. Retreat. Han Ling Zhenjuan fiercely urged Nascent Soul Mana. Ice Crystal Long Sword erupted with blinding cold tide, temporarily forcing back the 3 Yin puppets and 1 oncoming sword gang. He rolled his big sleeves, wrapped the seriously injured and unconscious sect members on the ground and those few Foundation establishment disciples who were scared silly, turning into a blinding ice blue escape light, and fled crazily toward the direction of Tianxian without looking back. The speed was so fast, in the blink of an eye, disappeared at the end of the yellowish wind and sand. Seeing the other party fleeing, Lu Mo did not pursue. Spending time maybe could leave the other party behind, but it was unnecessary. This place is at the border of both sides. Whether the other party has reinforcements is unknown. More importantly, he still has important things to do after coming out of seclusion. He waved his hand, summoning back the 3 Yin puppets. True Monarch's might. True Monarch's might. After a brief dead silence, Zhao Fu and the surviving Gufen plane cultivators erupted into deafening fanatic cheers. Looking at Lu Mo with unparalleled awe and fanaticism, Zhao Fu looked at the dark and upright back in front. In addition to excitement, his heart was even more shocked. In just 2 months, he actually clearly felt the aura on the true monarch was more condensed, more unfathomable than before seclusion. A moment later, inside the Gufen tribe main mansion, Zhao Fu bowed and saluted, reporting the situation that happened in the past 2 months to Lu Mo rapidly. True monarch. For 2 months, my Gufen plane defense area and Tianxian cultivators erupted in 17 conflicts large and small, mainly in 3 places: the West Black Wind Rift Valley, North Territory Waste Iron Mine Pit, and today's border Stone Forest. His speed of speech was clear, reporting the keys. Until the report was finished, Zhao Fu finally handed over a jade slip. This is the detailed battle report and compensation list. Please True Monarch to review. Lu Mo took the jade slip, divine sense scanned, cold data imprinted into his mind. His face had no waves, only said, compensation doubled. Use good pills for the injured. Must restore combat capability. List the list. Prepare as soon as possible. I will go handle it immediately. Zhao Fu accepted the order solemnly. After the instructions were given, Lu Mo's figure flashed, and he vanished from the main hall. The next moment, he appeared directly in Huangya Valley, before the entrance of the karst cave sealed by heavy restrictions. The spiritual light of the restrictions circulated, silently parting a passage for him. Stepping into the depths of the karst cave, the chilly aura remained. The first thing that came into view was a massive white shadow coiled beside a giant stone pillar. The frost giant python. Its massive body had retracted its fierce murderous aura, and its head, covered in crystal clear profound ice scales, bowed slightly. When its ghostly blue vertical pupils looked at Lu Mo, there was no more crazy hostility, only a kind of awe and obedience after being tamed. Lu Mo had initially subdued this fierce beast. Lu Mo's gaze passed over the giant python, and landed in the center of the karst cave. There, the emerald green sovereign basin floated quietly, exuding a warm and moist vitality. Above the basin, it was no longer that half section of decayed rotten wood. Replacing it, was a small tree about a foot tall, the whole body presenting a warm and moist jade-white luster. The trunk was knotted and powerful, as if carved from jade. The leaves were sparse but each one crystal clear, as if carved from the purest green chalcedony, exuding a soft and incomparably pure soul power fluctuation, making the entire karst cave permeate with an aura of serenity that calmed the heart. The complete soul-nourishing wood, under the continuous moonlight nourishment and the great power of creation of the sovereign basin for 2 months, that half-section of dying remnant remains, finally, glowed with vitality, regaining its origin, although far from reaching the might of the Soul Tao's supreme treasure in its heyday, but its miraculous effect of nourishing and repairing the soul already far exceeded the profound Yin pearl. Lu Mo walked up close, feeling the comfortable aura emitted by the soul-nourishing wood, vaguely resonating with his own soul. A trace of satisfaction flashed in his eyes. With this wood at his side, cooperating with the profound Yin pearl, his soul cultivation will be twice the result with half the effort. His heart moved slightly, carefully moving the nourished soul-nourishing wood out of the sovereign basin, and placing it on a stone platform in the cave where the Yin energy was purest, letting it absorb the earth vein Yin evil energy to slowly recover. But the gains from these 2 months of secluded practice went far beyond this. He sat cross-legged, mind calm. After practicing the great divine art. Divine sense was like an invisible spider web, with him as the center, easily covering the core area of the Gufeng plane within a radius of nearly 300 li, visible in every detail. The technique of distraction and object control became more refined, controlling the 3 Yin puppets as if they were his own arms, even able to split his mind to study jade slips at the same time. The 3 Yin puppets refined from Yin evil iron stood quietly in the corner, pitch black throughout, flowing with dark metallic ghostly light. After re-refinement by the Yin puppet refining form technique and nourishment by Yin evil energy, their aura became more condensed and heavy. In addition, the Qingshao sword technique he practiced himself had already reached perfection. Now he had also studied the Qinggang sword technique. The power between the two was about the same. However, when the latter was practiced to perfection, one could operate the heavenly gang sword array with not small power. At this moment, Lu Mo's heart moved slightly, only to see him spread his palm. Several exquisite array flags floated on it. With a slight move of divine sense, the array flags instantly sank into the karst cave ground. A layer of faint, distorted light misty mist rose, enveloping the central area. The aura instantly became blurred. Having studied the heavenly gang array diagram, he was more than a cut above before. His understanding of formations had long exceeded the scope of the original owner's memory. These improvements were merely the digestion of what he had gained, preparing to deal with a bigger storm. What truly made him come out of seclusion was the dark green jade slip in his bosom that had been silent for 2 months, but was now slightly hot. If it were not so, he would definitely not come out of seclusion in the short term. After all, wanting to digest these gains was not something that could be done in just 2 short months. Taking out the jade slip, divine sense submerged in. Sure enough, the originally blurry coordinate point inside the jade slip was now incomparably clear, pointing to a dangerous place in the southeast of the Damu grassland. Moreover, a new message flowed out. Assembly order. The time has come. 15 days later. Assemble at the marked point. Target of this trip. Explore the ruins of Nanyang Venerable. I am Nanzhen of the Tianxian Yuan state. For fellow Taoists accompanying. Remember, the goal is dangerous. The ruins are unpredictable. Hope for concerted cooperation. Each taking their own opportunities. Reply upon seeing the message. At the end, 3 marks had already responded. All were, except, ruins of Nanyang Venerable. Lu Mo's eyes suddenly became sharp. He had heard of this Nanyang Venerable. It was a famous nascent soul mid-stage cultivator in the Tianxian continent. This nascent soul great cultivator demonstrated not bad strength in the previous war between the two sides, successively beheading several nascent soul cultivators of Damu. It's just that later for some reason his whereabouts disappeared, and there has been no news until now. Didn't expect his ruins to actually be within Damu's territory, but what surprised Lu Mo more was a mere 5 golden cores, daring to target the ruins of a nascent soul mid-stage great cultivator. Either they are ignorant and fearless fools, or they have something to rely on. However, this Nanzhen acted so secretly and boldly. There must be something fishy behind it. But this news, how was it accurately transmitted to the Tianxian golden core who was killed by him? As thoughts flashed, Lu Mo already had a decision. He split a wisp of divine sense, leaving a cold mark in the jade slip. Except, the reply was just sent. The restriction at the karst cave entrance transmitted a rapid and familiar fluctuation. It was Zhao Fu's emergency contact mark. Lu Mo waved to remove the restriction. Zhao Fu's figure appeared at the entrance, his expression carrying a hint of strange respect. Reporting to True Monarch, Qiang tribe's Chili Zhenjuan is visiting, right now waiting in the front hall, saying, he has important matters to discuss. Chili, coming just after I came out of seclusion. Lu Mo's gaze flickered slightly. Understood. He took a step out, and his figure had already vanished from the depths of the karst cave. Gufeng tribe main mansion. Chili Zhenjuan's crimson figure was exceptionally eye-catching. He didn't sit, standing with his hands behind his back. After detecting the aura, he turned his head abruptly. His big bearded face instantly piled with hearty smiles. Voice like a bell. Ha ha ha. Fellow Taoist Qing Jin, you finally came out of seclusion. I heard you just forced back the Tianxian vermin on your side. Refreshing. Truly fucking refreshing. As he spoke, he turned to vigorously shake the big bright red gourd emitting hot air in his hand. Come. Freshly baked burning heart brew. I specially brought it for you to congratulate and calm your nerves. Taste it. Lu Mo turned slightly to the side, avoiding the scorching hot wine aura rushing toward his face. Expression calm. Fellow Taoist Chili's news is well informed. A few clowns, not worth mentioning. Fellow Taoist coming here, must have other important matters. His gaze looked directly at Chili, carrying inquiry. The red-haired Taoist robe didn't move. A faint and far-reaching smile hung on his face. Gaze like an ancient well without waves, falling on Lu Mo, then entering the main theme without covering up. Tone calm. Fellow Taoist Qing Jin, I came here, truly observing that our 3 southwestern places are located together, sharing lips and teeth, prosperity and humiliation together. He paused slightly, his line of sight refocusing on Lu Mo, that deep bottom of his eyes carrying a kind of inquiry. Tianxian is powerful, eyeing covetously, although the god temple controls the overall situation, but after all, the whip is not long enough to reach. I personally feel that to protect the southwest from being lost, you and I should conclude a tighter agreement. Chili's tone was still calm, but carried an unquestionable weight. fate. For example, resources communicating with each other to solve urgent needs, if encountering strong enemies invading, or, if a great opportunity enough to change fate appears, then join forces to seek it, sharing risks, sharing creation. He leaned forward slightly, voice lowered a few minutes. Only in this way, huddling together for warmth, can we take root deeper in this barren land, stand firmer, and create a brilliance that belongs to the Southwest. Fellow Taoist Qing Jin. This is a long-term plan. Fellow Taoist, what do you think? Lu Mo maintained a calm listening posture on the surface, but in his heart, it was like a mirror hanging high, instantly discerning the core not pointed out under Chili's words. This so-called alliance of mutual watch. The core is interest binding and power division. Communication. Who has the dominance? Sharing intelligence. Who is the leader? Joining forces to seize opportunities. This is the true bait. Chili is hinting, after forming an alliance, they can join hands outside the rules, and possibly even violate the God Temple's taboos, to compete for those heavy treasures enough to change the fate of nascent soul cultivators. Binding Gufeng Plain onto his Qiang tribe's interest chariot. Chili didn't mention forming cliques, partition, and even placed protecting living things in a high position, but every word unmistakably points toward constructing a more exclusive and action-oriented Southwestern interest community under the God Temple framework. Lu Mo was silent for a moment, pretending to reveal a trace of consideration on his face, then slowly opened his mouth. Fellow Taoist Chili's heart is tied to the Northwest, planning far-reaching. Lu admires, Southwest adjacent, strengthening communication, coordinating defense, communicating sound and breath. This is the proper meaning, also the responsibility. His tone shifted slightly, facing Chili with a hint of incomprehension in his eyes. But Lu's shallow opinion, precisely because we are all Damu cultivators, all serving the God Temple's orders, guarding one side, resisting Tianxian. These are all within responsibilities. Fraternal friendship. Why bother to establish another alliance name? You and I are both pillars of Damu, responsibilities from the same source, bloodlines rooted together, supporting each other, resisting foreign insults together. This is originally heavenly reason and human sentiment, natural and spontaneous. If deliberately speaking of alliance, wouldn't it fall into a lower grade, instead appearing estranged? The faint calm smile on Chili's face fluctuated extremely slightly, replaced by a deep scrutiny that flashed and disappeared. He looked at Lu Mo's calm and young face, for the first time clearly feeling the other party's stubbornness that cannot be moved by oil and salt. With a firm standpoint, he didn't immediately refute, instead sighed lightly. Fellow Taoist is sincere, will is firm, admirable, but fellow Taoist must also know, the difference in foundation between Damu and Tianxian is like judgment of cloud and mud. Tianxian spirit mountains and blessed lands. Foundation establishment is as easy as turning a palm. Golden core is also not a chasm. Looking at our Damu instead. Speaking of this, he shook his head slightly, carrying a bit of helplessness in his words. Cultivator foundation establishment needs to risk life to fight for a glimmer of survival. The golden core Dao is even a single plank bridge passed by 10,000 armies. 1 in 10 does not survive. As for nascent soul, Chili's gaze fell on Lu Mo again. Fellow Taoist being able to ascend to this realm, the hardship, and the massive resources required. Presumably you know better than me. But after nascent soul, his voice was low. Every word hit the point. Nascent soul cultivation. Resources required are even 100 times or 1,000 times more than before. Damu grassland can support a few nascent souls, and which nascent soul fellow Taoist can make a small step in cultivation within 100 years? Not unwilling, but truly cannot. The road ahead, almost cut off. He finally stared tightly at Lu Mo's still calm face. I proposed an alliance just now, not for private interest, but truly thinking of breaking this dead end, only by gathering strength. Is it possible to chisel out a glimmer of light in this desperate situation? Fellow Taoist, opportunity is in front. Decide quickly when you should. This kind of words pointing straight to the core, thoroughly tore open the coldest reality faced by nascent soul cultivators of the Damu grassland. Extreme scarcity of resources locked their path of ascent. Chili's alliance became the only seemingly feasible rope in this despair. Lu Mo was silent for a moment. His heart was not shaken in the slightest by this cruel reality. Facing Chili's gaze, his voice remained calm. What the fellow Taoist said, every word is true. Damu is barren. Nascent soul is hard to enter. This is the regret of heaven falling. Cannot be saved by one person or one power. But we receive orders from the God Temple. Guard one side. Protect one side. This responsibility is heavier than a mountain. This heart cannot tolerate distractions. But, I will naturally consider the fellow Taoist's words a little. Hearing this, the faint calm smile on Chili's face reappeared. What fellow Taoist said is the righteous path. Fellow Taoist, just think about it. I will wait for fellow Taoist's news. I will take my leave first. After speaking, Chili didn't say another word, nodding slightly, posture remaining calm. The crimson escape light leisurely lit up, steadily and swiftly penetrating the mansion gate, straight into the yellowish wind and sand, disappearing in an instant. Inside the mansion, Lu Mo stood alone for a long time. Chili's last words were straightforward, but pointed out the predicament of Damu. Compared to Tianxian, Damu resources truly do not occupy any advantage at all, even being heaven and earth apart. Resource chasm, nascent soul dead end. This is the cruel brutal reality of the Damu grassland. The so-called alliance to create brilliance is just struggling together in despair, everywhere filled with calculations. Compared to Tianxian, Damu doesn't have the same unity. Lu Mo did not directly state his position, anxious to form an alliance with whom. Plus he still has heaven-defying treasures like the Sovereign Basin. Even if Damu resources are scarce, relying on this basin to climb higher in the future is only a matter of time. Why does he need to form an alliance with anyone? And the current situation is unclear. The friction between Damu and Tianxian is also becoming more frequent. The best thing to do now is nothing. Less involvement in other matters is the most correct choice. Immediately Lu Mo put away his thoughts. With a movement of his figure, he disappeared. When he appeared again, he was already in the depths of the karst cave in the valley. Time passed rapidly. 10 days. Fingers passed. In the depths of the karst cave, Lu Mo's tightly closed eyes opened abruptly. The divine light in the bottom of his eyes was brilliant and restrained. The aura all over his body was condensed and vast, like an unfathomable ancient abyss. Without the slightest pause, a divine sense condensed to the extreme instantly penetrated all restrictions, accurately stabbing into someone's sea of consciousness. Zhao Fu, come see me immediately. In the depths of the karst cave, the restriction separated like water waves. Zhao Fu's figure appeared at the entrance. He was wearing the dark iron armor with traces of wind and sand, complexion steady, quickly walking to a few zhang in front of Lu Mo, bowing to salute. True monarch. Lu Mo sat cross-legged with a calm expression. He didn't stand up. Gaze falling on Zhao Fu, voice plain but clearly penetrated the silence of the karst cave. Zhao Fu, I summoned you to come here this time, is to tell you, this seat needs to leave the Gufeng Plain for a period of time. Zhao Fu's heart jumped violently, but on the surface remained steady, lowering his head and responding, yes, subordinate will definitely try my best to guard the Gufeng Plain. Please true monarch to instruct. Lu Mo looked at him, eyes profound. This place is the foundation for us to stand, is also the place where you all establish your lives. You have followed this seat for not a short time, yet your conduct is steady, can be considered useful, can be considered useful. These 4 words were like a heavy hammer, fiercely knocking on Zhao Fu's heart. An indescribable excitement and hot current instantly surged up, making him almost unable to control the rhythm of his breathing. The true monarch is pointing him out, is telling him, he Zhao Fu can be considered someone who can be entrusted in this Gufeng Plain. This is not just an evaluation, but a recognition, an implication of trust. In this Damu grassland where resources are scarce and hierarchy is strict, able to get such an evaluation and entrustment from a nascent soul true monarch, its weight is enough to make any golden core cultivator's heart surge. Thank you true monarch for recognition. Zhao Fu's voice carried a trace of subtle trembling, waist bending lower, tone decisive. Lu Mo nodded slightly, not surprised by his reaction. He raised his hand, a palm-sized, entire body moist cyan jade bottle and a black triangular command flag engraved with complex runes appeared out of thin air, slowly flying toward Zhao Fu. In this bottle are 3 condensation yuan pills, having miraculous effects for golden core cultivators to stabilize foundation and polish mana. Lu Mo's voice was plain, as if saying a trivial matter. Condensation yuan pills. Zhao Fu caught the jade bottle with both hands. When fingertips touched the warm and moist jade texture, actually trembled slightly. These precious pills that are of great benefit even to mid-stage golden core, are priceless on the grassland, often have a price but no market. The true monarch's move was actually like this. He forcibly suppressed the ecstasy in his heart. Adam's apple rolled, only then hoarsely said, thank true monarch for the generous gift. Subordinate, this flag is the certificate for Een puppet control. Lu Mo interrupted his words of gratitude, tone still plain. As his voice fell, in the shadows of the cave corner, 2 pitch-black figures seemed to seep out from nothingness, appearing silently beside Zhao Fu. They are entirely made of dark metal, lines cold and hard, no 5 senses, only 2 points of scarlet light lit up at the head position, exuding cold and dead silence, heart-palpitating terrifying aura. Exactly 2 of the Een puppets Lu Mo personally refined. Hold this flag, inject mana, can make them obey your orders, guard the city and kill the enemy. Lu Mo continued, these 2 puppets, strength comparable to late-stage golden core, defense is extremely strong, not afraid of ordinary arts, use it to guard the city, can resist an army. Looking at these 2 pitch-black puppets exuding fierce aura standing beside himself, feeling the heavy pressure rushing toward him, Zhao Fu only felt a chill rushing straight to the heavenly spirit cover, then was submerged by huge ecstasy and a sense of security. True monarch actually entrusted these 2 Een puppets comparable to late-stage golden core to him to control. This is no longer just trust. This is the true monarch entrusting one of the core forces guarding Gufeng Plain directly into his hands. This represents absolute importance. Having these 2 puppets that do not fear death, and have amazing defense, plus his own strength and the formation in the city. As long as Nascent Soul does not come personally, Gufeng Plain is solid as gold. True monarch. Zhao Fu fiercely knelt on one knee, head bowed deeply, voice trembling slightly because of excitement. Subordinate Zhao Fu will definitely not fail true monarch's entrusted task. Guard every inch of land of the Gufeng Plain, quietly waiting for true monarch to return. If there is any error, willing to offer my head. Lu Mo looked at Zhao Fu kneeling on the ground, with surging aura, a flash of satisfaction that was not easily facially noticeable past in his eyes. Grace and power combined, bestowed with heavy artifacts. This person is useful. Get up. Lu Mo's voice was plain. Guard this place well. If there is an emergency, can burn this talisman. A cyan jade talisman engraved with simple sword patterns flew toward Zhao Fu. Yes, subordinate understands. Zhao Fu caught the jade talisman with both hands, carefully and preciously stored it, together with the cyan jade bottle and the black command flag carefully put into the storage bag. He stood up, deeply saluted again, no longer saying more, turned and walked out of the karst cave with big strides. The karst cave returned to silence. Lu Mo waved his hand, recalling the lasting puppet with the most condensed aura back into the spirit beast bag. His mind moved slightly. That warm dark green jade slip appeared in his hand. Divine sense submerged. Inside the jade slip, beside the originally clear coordinate point, at this moment was silently flickering a weak spiritual light mark. That was the time limit mark set by the convener. At this moment it had completely lit up, like a silent urging. The time for assembly has finally arrived. However, with my current appearance and strength, it is completely not enough. Still need to disguise. Lu Mo, who was slightly thinking in his heart, stood up, walking to a relatively open place in the karst cave. He raised both hands. 10 fingers changed rapidly, forming complex and mysterious seals. Threads of faint cyan mana flowed out from his fingertips, like living things entwining his whole body. With the seal changes, the bones and muscles on his face started to undergo subtle yet strange writhing, stretching, reorganization. The originally cold and clear facial features became blurred, skin color changed, facial outline also became mediocre and strange. His whole person's temperament, from the aloof and sharp of a nascent soul true monarch, quickly settled into the look of a young and steady person. Exactly the phantom disguise technique. At the same time, the vast nascent soul mana in his body started to rapidly descend. Compression. The majestic power was forcibly restrained by powerful divine sense, suppressed back into the depths of the Dantian Chi Sea. The invisible, heart-palpitating nascent soul pressure around his body receded like a tide, finally stabilizing at a strong and condensed, but clearly belonging to the level of Golden Core Peak Cultivator. Unless there is a great cultivator above nascent soul midstage using divine sense to carefully investigate his mana origin. Otherwise, it is absolutely difficult to see through this layer of exquisite disguise. After a moment, the seal was completed, mana brilliance restrained. In the center of the karst cave, there was no longer true monarch Qingjin Lu Mo. Replacing him was a young man with ordinary features, steady aura, deep eyes, exuding golden core peak fluctuations. This appearance was exactly that golden core cultivator who was killed by him before. He lowered his head to look at his whole body, feeling the power that was suppressed but still surging in his body. A cold sharp edge flashed in his eyes. Disguise finished. Identity changed. Lu Mo, or at this moment the young cultivator. His figure flashed, turning into an inconspicuous pale cyan escape light, silently penetrating layers of restrictions, leaving the karst cave, leaving the main mansion, leaving Gufeng City, finally thoroughly merging into the boundless yellowish dusk of the Gufeng Plain, galloping toward the southeast direction, the position marked by the jade slip, somewhere in the northwest of Damu, a pale cyan escape light galloping silently above the boundless sand sea. Lu Mo maintained that plain and mediocre young face, golden core peak aura condensed and restrained. The dark green jade slip in his bosom continued to emit weak warmth. Right now, inside the jade slip, a slightly urgent divine sense mark was flickering slightly, the mark that had transmitted messages twice before, but was deliberately ignored by him. The other party called himself Wang Shao. Information from the residual communication in the jade slip showed this person seemed to have some friendship with the dark green figure. Asked about the recent situation twice before. Now the assembly time has arrived. If ignored again, fear of arousing suspicion. Lu Mo's heart moved slightly. Split. A wisp of divine sense submerged into the jade slip, leaving a cold mark beside the flickering mark. On the way, will arrive shortly. Immediately he no longer paid attention to the follow-up information of the jade slip. The direction of the escape light adjusted slightly, accelerating toward another direction. A few hours later, a giant mouth where the earth cracked, appeared in the yellowish sand screen. This place is called Wind Erosion Gorge. The wind force at the entrance eased slightly. A figure in a purple magic robe stood with hands behind his back under the huge wind-eroded rock. This person looks like 27 or 28. Features ordinary, eyes sharp like a hawk. The aura around him condensed and heavy. Actually golden core peak cultivation. Exactly Wang Shao. The escape light transformed by Lu Mo landed. Wang Zhao's sharp gaze swept over instantly. After confirming Lu Mo's features and that golden core peak aura, a trace of familiar smile floated on his face. Fellow Taoist finally arrived. Wang Zhao's voice was steady. Couldn't hear joy or anger. Transmitted messages twice before. No response. I was quite worried. Thought fellow Taoist encountered some changes within Damu's territory. His gaze seemingly casually swept over Lu Mo's body, carrying scrutiny. Lu Mo looked slightly tired with a trace of apology. Trouble fellow Taoist Wang for worrying. Truly encountered some trouble. Before, I deeply infiltrated the northwest of Damu to explore an ancient mine ruin. Carelessly alarmed their patrol team. The late-stage Golden Core leader was very difficult to deal with. Was chased all the way. Had no choice but to escape into a dangerous place to hibernate for more than a month. While healing, I didn't dare to easily easily use the jade slip, afraid of being tracked by aura. Until recently I just escaped. His tone was plain, but carried a sense of tightness of having survived a disaster. Wang Xiao heard this. The trace of doubt in his eyes dissipated, nodded, revealing a look of understanding. So it is. The Damu barbarians' investigation of the territory has indeed become increasingly strict in recent years. It's good that fellow Daoist could escape. Is there anything serious about the injury? Flesh and blood wounds. Already not a problem. Just consumed some vital energy. Lu Mo waved his hand, appearing unwilling to mention more. This place is not suitable for staying long. Better to hurry to assemble with others. Exactly my intention. Wang Xiao didn't ask any more. Clearly accepted this explanation. 2 escape lights lit up again. 1 purple, 1 cyan, sticking close to the ground, galloping toward the depths of the Thousand Marsh. Only left the wind erosion gorge entrance for 100 li. Heaven and earth changed color suddenly. Ahead, a yellowish giant wall connecting heaven and earth carrying ghost crying sharp screams, pressed over like a mountain toppling to the sea. The fierce wind rolled up, no longer sand and gravel, but countless pitch-black broken stones with sharp edges. The air was filled with violent chaotic power tearing at spiritual energy. It is the black evil gale. This is a disaster unique to the Damu grassland. Even golden core cultivators are difficult to escape if they fall into it, and even fall into danger. Avoiding it when encountering it is the best policy. Retreat. Wang Xiao's face tightened, gave a low shout. Escape light instantly turned, without hesitation shot toward a low mountain depression on the side. Lu Mo also revealed a solemn expression, following closely behind. The 2 dangerously rushed into the mountain depression. The next moment, the thunderous roar of destroying heaven and earth pressed down from overhead. The mountain depression trembled violently, broken stones like rain. Wang Xiao's whole body lit up with a layer of condensed earth yellow protective spiritual light, steadily resisting the erosion of the gale's aftermath, showing the profound foundation of a golden core peak cultivator. Lu Mo's protective spiritual light flickered uncertainly, seeming to appear quite struggling. The gale raged for an incense stick of time, only then gradually drifted away. Just when the 2 breathed a sigh of relief, preparing to leave, the sand ground under their feet was like boiling. Countless pitch-black oily, tail needles flickering ghostly blue sand poisonous scorpions, emerged like a black tide, instantly covering the mountain depression. Humph. Seeking death. Wang Xiao's eyes turned cold, did not see how he acted. Several condensed purple needles generated out of thin air, sweeping toward the surging scorpion group like a meat grinder, instantly clearing a large area. Golden core peak pressure was unreservedly radiated, attempting to deter the insect group. However, the scorpion group was not afraid of death. The offensive became even fiercer. At the same time, an aura far more ferocious and cold than the scorpion group erupted suddenly. Sand waves exploded, a millstone-sized, entire body covered in silvery white carapace. Tail poison needle flickering with blinding silver light giant scorpion appeared proudly. Silver poison scorpion king, 3rd order peak. Its silver tail highly poisonous, enough to threaten golden core peak. Evil beast. Wang Xiao's eyes were solemn. Dare not be slow. A purple long needle was sacrificed. Purple light on the needle tip flourished, taking the initiative to meet the pouncing scorpion king. Dang. Gold and iron clashing. Scorpion king's silver tail and purple needle fiercely shook, actually evenly matched. Scorpion king hissed. Silver tail turned into trails of afterimages, fiercely attacking with fishy wind and poisonous mist. Just when Wang Xiao was focusing on dealing with the Scorpion King's hideous mouthpart suddenly opened, a thick silver poison liquid, like an arrow silently shooting toward Wang Xiao. The timing was tricky and ruthless. Wang Xiao's heart warning bell rang wildly, but Flying Needle returning to defend was already too late. Seeing the poison arrow reaching the body, a condensed cyan light faster than lightning split the silver poison liquid, and with undiminished power continued to slash toward the weakness exposed by the Scorpion King because of spraying poison liquid. Puff. Cyan light flashed and disappeared. Fishy green pulp exploded from the gap. Hiss. Roar. Silver poison Scorpion King issued a sky-shaking tragic howl. Massive body fiercely twisted due to extreme pain. The offensive instantly collapsed. Wang Xiao seized this once-in-a-thousand-years breakthrough. Fierce light flashed in his eyes. Purple needle erupted with full might. Needle light surged, fiercely slashed onto the Scorpion King. Puff. Tough silver armor was torn apart. Purple needle deeply embedded. Lu Mo's figure approached like a ghost. Cyan long sword in hand carrying ruthlessness. Again with incomparable precision slashed toward the silver scorpion. Violent sword energy erupted crazily inside its body. Silver poison Scorpion King's massive body stiffened violently, fell to the ground with a bang, splashing sand and dust all over the sky. And as the Scorpion King died, the remaining scorpion group instantly scattered, retreating like a tide. At this time, Wang Xiao breathed a slight sigh of relief, after putting away the purple needle magical treasure, then cupped his hands to Lu Mo and said, "Just now, thanks to fellow Daoist Lu for acting in time." Lu Mo waved his hand and said, "Fellow Daoist Wang is too polite. If it weren't for you fighting head-on, severely injuring its body, I wouldn't have been able to find that fleeting breakthrough. This monster is truly powerful." Wang Xiao looked at the Scorpion King's corpse, eyes flashing with bright light. This silver poison Scorpion King is full of treasures, especially this silver tail poison needle, and the silver armor on its body. Valuable value is not cheap. Fellow Taoist contributed heavily. Should take the big share. He actively proposed this time, clearly accepting the favor. And Lu Mo did not be polite with him. Took out the most valuable silver tail poison needle and collected it, while leaving the tough silver armor on its body to Wang Shao. But just at this moment, Lu Mo's gaze seemingly unintentionally swept over the abdominal cavity of the Scorpion King that had been stirred to ruin by sword energy. He said, and again separated its abdomen with cyan sword energy, only to see a bead the size of a pigeon egg, entire body round, flowing with strange dark silver luster exposed. Poison sac bead. Lu Mo showed surprise. Wang Shao looked over upon hearing the sound. Seeing that dark silver bead, a trace of realization flashed in his eyes. Indeed is this thing, condensed from the lifetime poison essence of the silver poison Scorpion King, contains silver marrow poison, quite rare. Unfortunately, this bead's color is dark and dull. Poison age is at most 100 years, if nourished for 1,000 years, transforming into a silver soul poison bead. Its poison is so fierce, even nascent soul cultivators have to be wary of 3 points. Now, but it is chicken ribs. His tone carried regret, clearly looking down on this 100-year poison bead. Lu Mo's heart moved slightly. As a Damu cultivator, he naturally recognized it without his explanation. Oh, interesting. He only kept his expression calm, casually putting the bead away. Since it is a highly poisonous object, fellow Taoist doesn't take it. Then I will keep it for research. Maybe it will be useful for poison refining. Wang Shao had no objection, then continued. Time is running late. No time to delay. Let's continue on our way. Go. The two started the escape light again, galloping forward. After several days of trekking, the yellowish sky was finally replaced by a boundless, rolling gray-green miasma marsh. The air was thick and heavy, permeating with a pungent smell of some mixture. Occasionally, bubbles emerged from the muddy water surface, and when they burst, they spread a wisp of thicker gray-green poisonous smoke. This is exactly the terrifying abdomen of the Thousand Marsh, where the miasma mother pool is located. When Lu Mo and Wang Zhao's escape light landed on a relatively dry giant black reef by the miasma mother pool, 4 figures were already standing. The heavy miasma was slightly pushed away by the spiritual light emitted by their whole bodies. They seemed to have waited here for a long time. When sensing the aura of Lu Mo and the two, they turned their heads one after another. The leader, wearing a deep purple robe with gold trim, features elegant, long beard under the chin, but eyes like deep pools, steady and revealing the dignity of long standing in high positions. He stood with hands behind his back, aura condensed like a mountain, exactly the initiator of this action. Tianxian Yuan State Nan Clan leader. Nanjun, Golden Core Peak Cultivation. On the left side of Nanjun, stood a middle-aged man wearing a cyan Confucian robe. His features were clear and thin, suspended with an ancient long sword at his waist, temperament gentle and peaceful, like a teacher in the mundane world. Only a pair of eyes occasionally flashed like electricity when opening and closing, showing extraordinary qualities. This is the loose cultivator Zhou Ming, also Golden Core Peak Cultivation, with a deep friendship with Nanjun. On the right is a burly man with an unusually strong stature. He wore dark, tight clothing, muscles knotted, almost bursting the clothes, a hideous scar on his face, eyes fierce and overbearing, unreservedly scanning the newly arrived Lu Mo and Wang Shao. This person is exactly the ancestor of the immortal cultivation family Qin clan, Qin Gaowu, Golden Core Peak Cultivation. The last person, independently standing at the edge of the reef, facing away from everyone. Her posture was slender and graceful, wearing a moon-white flowing cloud-wide sleeve dress, appearing out of place in this filthy environment. The waist-long green silk was only coiled with a simple jade hairpin, exposing the beautifully lined neck. Her whole body was shrouded in a layer of hazy smoke, aura cold and isolated, exactly the elder of Yunyan sect, Lu Changyue. Cultivation Golden Core late stage. Fellow Taoist Wang, fellow Taoist Lu, finally waited for you too. This journey has been hard. Is everything well? Nanjun's gaze swept over Wang Shao and Lu Mo. A gentle smile revealed on his face, voice steady and powerful. Fellow Taoist Nan also kept several fellow Taoists waiting long, slightly delayed on the road, but fortunately arrived in time. Wang Shao cupped his hands with a sigh of relief. No harm, no harm. Even waiting another day is fine, as long as you can arrive safely. Nanjun smiled. Brother Nan, since everyone is here, then let's begin. At this moment, that middle-aged Confucian-like Zhou Ming spoke. Nanjun nodded, then spoke. Since everyone is here, I will briefly describe this trip. His gaze slowly swept over everyone, tone carrying solemnity. Presumably you all know, our goal is the ruins of a nascent soul mid-stage great cultivator. This location was obtained by my accidental opportunity. The news is absolutely reliable. The ruins are hidden in this dangerous place called Stone Ruins deep in the Thousand Marsh. Among them, restrictions are layer upon layer. Danger is unpredictable, but opportunities coexist with it. Hope you all cooperate concerted, each taking what you need. Brother Nan, rest assured, since already arrived here, naturally must work together. Zhou Ming nodded slightly, tone gentle yet firm. Nascent soul ruins. I want to see what good things are there. Qin Gaowu stood with arms folded, sound like a bell, greed and excitement flashing in his eyes. Lu Changyue still faced away from everyone, only sent back a light response as cold as ice beads falling on jade plates. Wang Shao cupped his hands and said, "Naturally we'll listen to Brother Nan's arrangement." Lu Mo was concise. "Understood." Nan Zhen's eyes flashed with brilliance. "Everyone, get ready. We must not delay. Let's depart now." Immediately, the group stopped talking nonsense. 6 streaks of escape light lit up once again. Under the guidance of Nan Zhen in the lead, they flew closely along the rolling miasma, heading toward the depths of the marsh, pointing straight at the stone ruins. But this journey was more arduous than anticipated, not due to the marsh itself, but the pressure coming from the outside. Though Thousand Marsh is dangerous, it is located in the buffer zone where the forces of Damu and Tianxian are intertwined. In recent years, friction has been constant, and the activities of both sides' patrol cultivators are frequent. Nan Zhen's group of 6 golden core cultivators gathered here. Their goal was not small. To avoid possible eyes and ears, they had to detour through more remote areas, where the miasma was thicker, and the poisonous insects were fiercer. The journey that should have taken half a month to reach, was forcibly dragged out significantly longer. 30 li to the left front, there are strong mana fluctuations. Suspected patrol team encountering fierce beasts. Detour. Nan Zhen held an ancient compass, spiritual light flashing, constantly correcting the route. His voice low. Everyone turned as ordered, escaping into a stone forest composed of huge, twisted, pockmarked strange black rocks. The thick gray-green miasma here almost condensed into substance. Divine sense probing out no more than 100 zhang before being eroded into blurriness. Beneath their feet was an bottomless pitch-black mud pool. From time to time, huge, black shadows with pus-like suckers flashed and vanished in the mud pool. Follow closely. The soul-devouring miasma here is extremely thick. Do not disperse. Nan Zhen's voice seemed somewhat blurry in the thick fog. Purple energy surged slightly around his body, pushing away the approaching miasma slightly. The others also successively strengthened their protective spiritual light. The smoke and clouds around Lu Changyue became even thicker, completely isolating the miasma outside. Lu Mo followed closely behind Wang Shao, seemingly using all his strength to drive protective spiritual light to resist the miasma. But in reality, his nascent soul-level divine sense was like an invisible spider web, cautiously spread out several li around the team. This stone forest was eerily quiet, only the bubbling sound of the mud pool and the hissing sound of miasma flowing. Just when they were cautiously passing through a relatively open, swamp area covered with huge skeletons, on the edge of Lu Mo's divine sense, extremely obscurely captured a trace of anomaly. Deep in a group of towering black stone peaks on the left, resembling the fangs of a monster, there seemed to be extremely weak aura fluctuations flashing and vanishing, as fast as an illusion. That fluctuation carried the mana aura unique to Damu cultivators mixed with wind, sand, and evil spirit. Lu Mo's heart tightened slightly, but his expression remained calm, still maintaining the state of golden core peak cultivation. The team continued to move forward. Nan Zhen's compass needle pointed steadily toward the ruins direction. The tightly wound heartstrings of the group slightly relaxed. Qin Gaowu even cursed in a low voice. Damn it, almost there, right? This ghost place is suffocatingly frustrating. Lu Changyue's cold voice came. Quiet. The danger here hasn't been removed. Qin Gaowu curled his lips, but didn't make a sound again. Not knowing how long they had been galloping, when they thought they had successfully avoided all dangerous areas, and were rapidly approaching the target, at a distance of about 5 li away from them, deep in the shadows of that black stone peak group, 3 figures that almost merged with the rocks, were silently watching their fading escape light. The yellowish miasma seemed to have no end. The 6 streaks of escape light were still galloping. After a full month of walking on thin ice, and making detours, the outline of the stone ruins finally faintly emerged at the end of the divine sense induction. Flying for a few more days, they would be able to arrive. In front of the team, Nan Zhen held the compass, but his brows locked slightly. Zhou Ming, who was beside him, that gentle scholar, suddenly slowed his escape speed, a lingering doubt on his clear and thin face. Brother Nan, fellow Taoists, do you all feel that coming all this way seems to have been too smooth? Lu Changyue, who had been silent, also stopped her figure, the moon-white skirt hem motionless in the miasma. Her cold voice sounded. Indeed, avoiding patrols can be understood, but even fierce beasts and poisonous insects rarely attacked proactively, which doesn't fit the common sense of this place. When things are abnormal, there must be demons. Qin Gaowu heard this, snorted impatiently. Isn't it good to be smooth? I wish we could reach the entrance of the ruins safely all the way. You too, don't be suspicious and scare people. Wang Shao also frowned. Although he didn't speak, there was also more vigilance in his eyes. Nan Zhen was about to open his mouth to soothe. Lu Mo at the end of the team appeared to be concentrating on resisting the miasma, but in reality, his nascent soul-level divine sense had already extended like invisible tentacles, into the depths of that black stone peak group behind. Just as Zhou Ming and Lu Changyue's words fell, Lu Mo's divine sense clearly saw those 8 figures that had been dormant for a long time. 8 powerful golden core auras suddenly awakened, 2 of which were actually late-stage golden core. The other 6 were all golden core peak. They no longer hid, like 8 arrows released from the string, carrying cold killing intent, surrounding from the side rear. Target clear. Exactly them 6. 8 golden cores, including 6 at the peak. Lu Mo's heart sank. If they were entangled here, falling into a siege, Nan Zhen and the others would have no chance of survival, even if they luckily escaped, they would surely be heavily wounded, and fleeing for their lives separately. If that happened, his plan to sneak into the team and plot the ruins would completely fail. In a flash, Lu Mo's mind was made up. They absolutely cannot die here, and the team must not disperse like this. He split a wisp of extremely pure, nascent soul divine sense carrying the unique Damu Cultivator aura, like an invisible beacon, instantly penetrated space, and accurately stabbed into the sea of consciousness of the leader among those 8 Damu cultivators. At the same time, a short, irrefutable order, wrapped in the dignity aura unique to a nascent soul true monarch, was directly branded in the other's heart and mind. I am Qin Jin Jinjuan. This seed is sneaking among them, and has my own plans. You all must not harbor killing intent. Just pretend to attack and contain them. Leave a gap in the northwest. Wait for them to enter the ruins. This seat will deal with it. Follow the order. In the shadow of the stone peaks, that golden core peak leader whose face was hidden in the hood, was about to issue the encirclement signal. But the majestic intent that suddenly exploded in his sea of consciousness and that aura so familiar it made his soul tremble, made his whole person as if struck by lightning. His pupils shrank suddenly. His face under the hood changed instantly. Qin Jin Jinjuan. It's the aura of that true monarch guarding Gufeng Plain. He actually mixed into the Tianxian cultivator team. Huge shock and incomprehension surged like a tide in his heart. But the nascent soul true monarch ordered personally, and it was the most secret imprint transmission of the Damu military. Absolutely no falsehood. He forcibly suppressed the monstrous waves in his heart. The murderous intent in his eyes instantly suppressed. He raised his hand fiercely to his 7 companions who were also full of murderous aura behind him, issuing a completely different instruction through divine sense. Target northwest. 4 people follow me in a frontal feigned attack to contain. The other 4 flank to intercept. Make a show of strength. Do not inflict death blows. Force them to break through to the northwest. Violators of the order will be dealt with by military law. Although the 7 Damu golden cores didn't understand, but feeling the irrefutable determination in their leader's divine sense, no one dared to have objections, instantly adjusting the formation. Almost at the moment Lu Mo's order was completed, and the Damu cultivators changed formation. Bad. Nanjun's face changed drastically, warning sternly. His compass trembled wildly, pointing to the side rear. Zhou Ming, Lu Changyue, Qin Gaowu, Wang Xiao also sensed those 8 strong auras approaching rapidly without any concealment. 8 golden cores, surrounding from behind. Wang Xiao's voice carried a trace of horror. Damn it, it's the dogs of Damu. Qin Gaowu was surprised and angry, a giant axe appearing in his hand instantly, full of evil spirit. This place cannot be stayed. Break through quickly. Nanjun made a decisive decision, his gaze like electricity scanning, instantly locking onto the northwest direction which seemed weakest in the opponent's encirclement circle. There were only 4 auras, and they seemed to have just adjusted their formation, slightly scattered. Northwest. Break out. At the moment of life and death, no one hesitated. 6 streaks of escape light, like startled birds, erupted with full speed, charging fiercely toward the 4 Damu cultivators blocking the northwest. Nanjun took the lead, purple light on his hand surging, a purple gold long spear entwined with purple electric arcs all over, spitting out chilling cold light from the spear tip, stabbed fiercely. The spear came like a dragon, carrying the whistling of tearing miasma. Block them. The Damu leader feigned a roar, a heavy pitch-black war hammer in his hand wrapped in the sound of wind and thunder, seemingly fiercely smashing toward Nanjun's spear shadow. The 3 golden cores behind him also desperately sacrificed magical treasures. Sword light and sword shadows intertwined into a curtain of light. Zhou Ming followed behind Nanjun, giving a clear shout. Go! The ancient long sword at his waist instantly unsheathed, actually split into 2, turning into 2 sword lights as agile as silver snakes, entwining and circling each other, piercing toward 2 gaps in the curtain of light with incomparable precision. The sword light was tricky and swift, fully displaying his profound sword Dao attainments. Lu Changyue's posture was ethereal. Her jade hand waved lightly. A treasure fan woven entirely from moon-white feathers appeared in her hand. She didn't attack directly, but fanned lightly toward the thick miasma ahead. In an instant, a white smoke mist carrying the aura of cold moonlight surged out. Wherever it passed, gray-green miasma melted like ice and snow. The vision instantly opened up, and a strange dragging force permeated, making the movements of the Damu cultivators opposite seem to slow down by half a beat. Good treasure. Qin Gaowu was overjoyed at the sight, roaring wildly. The dark iron giant axe the size of a door panel in his hand erupted with blinding yellow light, like a mountain-opening giant god, fiercely chopping toward the curtain of light delayed by the smoke mist, and torn open by Zhou Ming's silver sword. The axe light was incomparably heavy, carrying the power to destroy everything. Boom! Dang! Sietich! La! Wang Xiao and Lu Mo also followed closely, sword light and magic spells unleashed together, firmly holding open the gap they were attempting to close. For Damu golden cores desperately resisted, the light of magical treasures flashing violently, seemingly dangerous, but actually sparing no effort, only seeking realism. They roared continuously, forced back step by the impact of the 6 people's combined burst. The encirclement was forcibly torn open a gap. Go! Nanjun shouted sternly. The purple gold long spear swept across, forcing back the nearest opponent, taking the lead to rush out of the gap. The other 5 followed closely, turning into 6 streaks of flowing light. light, fleeing for their lives toward the direction of the stone ruins without looking back. Bastards, don't let them run. The Damu leader feigned a roar of fury and waved his war hammer, making a gesture to pursue. He watched the direction the Tianxian cultivators were fleeing. A trace of unobvious complexity flashed in his eyes. Immediately following Lu Mo's order, he roared toward the void with unwillingness. Tianxian vermin, you are lucky. When my Damu reinforcements arrive, I will definitely skin and cramp you. Step flat the ruins. None of you think about running. The roar echoed in the miasma, filled with resentment and threats. Ahead, the 6 people fleeing for their lives heard it clearly. Their hearts tightened even more. Their escape speed accelerated by another 3 points, only wishing to rush into the ruins as quickly as possible, to shake off the pursuit. After several days of fleeing for their lives, when the contour of a ruin composed of countless huge, twisted, and strangely shaped giant rocks stood clearly under the yellowish sky, the tightly wound heartstrings of the 6 people fleeing for their lives finally relaxed slightly. This stone ruins stood on the desert in a disorderly manner like the collapsed skeletons of ancient giant beasts, exuding an ancient, desolate, and dead silent aura. Finally arrived. Those Damu barbarians could only bark a few times outside. Qin Gaowu was the first to drop his escape light, stepping on a tilted giant rock, making a dull sound. His face carried the arrogance of having survived a disaster. The scar on his face even more hideous in the dim light. Entered this ruin. Let's see if they still dare to chase in and seek death. Lu Changyue's cold figure landed gracefully, the moon-white skirt hem spotless. She didn't pay attention to Qin Gaowu's clamor, brows slightly furrowed, cold gaze sweeping over this piece of dead silent ruins. Escaping, it was a bit too easy. That team of cultivators seemed to have unfulfilled intentions. Her voice was not high, but it made the just relaxed atmosphere stagnant for a moment. Zhou Ming also landed nearby, with deep thought on his gentle face. What Elder Lu said is not unreasonable. The opponent has 8 golden cores. Among them many are at the peak. The encirclement was already formed, yet it collapsed under our combined charge. This is contrary to common sense. After speaking, his gaze turned to Nanzhen. Brother Nan, what do you think? Nanzhen held that ancient compass, gaze sharply scanning the depths of the ruins. Upon hearing the questioning, a trace of solemnity appeared on his steady face, immediately turning into decisiveness. Elder Lu, Brother Zhou's concerns. This old man understands, but things have reached this point. The entrance to the ruins is right in front of eyes. Opportunity is within reach. If we retreat due to suspicion, wouldn't it be all previous efforts wasted? Moreover, this place is deep in Damu. Staying long will surely lead to variables. Cut the Gordian knot. His gaze swept over everyone, carrying irrefutable dignity. Everyone, already arrived here. Do you still want to turn back? Qin Gaowu immediately echoed. Exactly. Brother Nan is right. Screw what tricks they have. Enter the ruins and get the treasure first. Old man doesn't believe. After entering the Nascent Soul Great Cultivator's cave dwelling, those barbarians still dare to follow in and seek death. Wang Xiao although didn't speak, but the vigilance in his eyes had been replaced by the desire for the ruins. Lu Mo also seconded. What Brother Nan said is extremely true. Delay will lead to changes. Lu Changyue and Zhou Ming looked at each other, both seeing a trace of helplessness in the other's eyes. Nanzhen's words hit the key point. The arrow is on the string, must be fired. The two no longer spoke, only secretly raising their vigilance to 12 points. Good. Nanzhen no longer delayed, holding the compass, strode toward a seemingly ordinary corner deep in the ruins. There, only a few inconspicuous black chaotic rocks were piled up, no different from other places. Lu Mo followed at the end of the team. Nascent soul-level divine sense quietly covered this area, his heart also flooding with a trace of ripples. This place, actually so secret. He had been guarding the Gufeng Plain for many years, and was somewhat familiar with the periphery of Thousand Marsh, but the depths of this place called Stone Ruins, he had actually never set foot in. This place terrain is remote. Miasma and space seem to carry a kind of natural distortion. If not for Nanzhen leading the way, ordinary cultivators would basically be difficult to penetrate here. Only to see Nanzhen walking in front of that pile of chaotic rocks, without performing any heaven-shaking magic. He took a deep breath, treasure-like taking out an object from his bosom. It was not the compass he had been using, but a palm-sized, neither gold nor jade, entire body pitch black, surface covered with natural mysterious lines token-like strange treasure. The edge of the token was inlaid with a few rice-sized, exuding dark luster strange crystals. Nanzhen's expression was solemn, hands holding the black token, muttering to himself. Obscure ancient syllables echoed in the dead silent ruins. At the same time, he carefully injected his own pure golden core peak mana into the token. Buzz. With the injection of mana, the mysterious lines on that black token suddenly lit up. The inlaid dark crystals, like awakened eyes, shot out several rays of deep dark light, accurately projecting onto those few seemingly ordinary chaotic rocks in front. Lu Mo's expression was calm, but in his heart, alarm bells were ringing wildly. The object in Nanzhen's hand is absolutely not an ordinary product. The fluctuation emitted by that token is ancient and obscure, carrying a kind of aura of the same source as this ruins. This is absolutely not an opportunity that a clan leader of an ordinary immortal cultivation family can easily obtain. He can actually use this object as a key to open the mystery barrier of the ruins set by the Nascent Soul Mid-Stage Great Cultivator. This person person's identity and purpose, I am afraid, are far more complex than he had previously guessed. Under the gaze of everyone with suspicion, an unexpected change occurred. Those chaotic rocks illuminated by the dark light, as if endowed with life, inside the rock body, issued a low buzzing sound. Immediately after, in everyone's unbelievable gaze, those huge rocks actually slowly, silently moved by themselves. They were like obedient servants, steadily sliding away in different directions, exposing the hard ground beneath them that had been covered for I don't know how many years, covered with strange lines. Crack, 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 crack. The strange lines on the ground, under the illumination of the token's dark light, lit up like living vines, light circulating, rapidly outlining a huge and complex, ancient formation map exuding spatial fluctuations. Boom! A dull loud noise came from the depths of the underground. The ground in the center of the formation map, like a sleeping giant beast, opened its mouth, slowly cracked to both sides. A deep, bottomless, downward tilting, exuding a more ancient and cold aura dark tunnel, actually appeared before everyone's eyes. The tunnel was pitch black, only wisps of cold, an indescribable, a chill mixed with the sedimentation of time spread from the depths of the tunnel. Opened, actually opened. Qin Gaowu was the first unable to hold back. Greedy light erupted in his eyes, almost wanting to rush in immediately. Wang Zhao's breathing was also rapid, staring tightly at that deep entrance. On Zhou Ming and Lu Changyue's faces were filled with shock and solemnity. This method of opening far exceeded their imagination, and verified the extraordinariness of this place. A cold light flashed in the depths of Lu Mo's eyes and disappeared instantly. The tunnel has opened. The key in Nanjun's hand, and the secret behind him. Value soared suddenly. Nanjun put away the black token emitting residual warmth, his face carrying a trace of relief and excitement. But his eyes remained steady. He took a deep breath of the cold aura gushing from the tunnel, said in a deep voice, "Everyone, the door to the ruins is opened. Opportunity is right in front of eyes. Follow this old man in." After speaking, purple energy around his body slightly rose. He stepped into that bottomless dark tunnel without hesitation, his figure instantly swallowed by darkness. Qin Gaowu didn't hesitate, and followed in closely. Zhou Ming and Lu Changyue both no longer hesitated. One cyan and one white, two streaks of light also followed and submerged into the darkness. Wang Xiao licked his somewhat dry lips, glanced at Lu Mo beside him and said in a low voice, "Brother Lu, go." After speaking, he also flashed and entered. Lu Mo took a final glance at the yellowish dead silent stone ruins outside, and glanced again at the heart-palpitating darkness in the depths of the tunnel. He didn't have the slightest hesitation. One step forward, and his figure also thoroughly merged into that unknown darkness. Behind, those few moved giant rocks, after everyone entered, as if losing the supporting force, slowly closed again, covering the cracked ground seamlessly, as if everything had never happened. Led by Nanjun, the 6 people went deep down along the tunnel. The deep tunnel extended downward, broad enough to allow 5 people to walk side by side. The rough rock walls on both sides, as they went deeper, gradually inlaid with fist-sized, emitting soft white light, priceless bright stones, illuminating the path ahead into a piece of pale white. The deeper they went, the heavier the cold air became. The air permeated with the dryness and coldness of 10,000 years of sealing. The group did not relax their vigilance because of this, always maintaining high alertness, having tight spiritual power protection around their bodies. Not knowing how long they walked, the front suddenly opened up. A huge underground space presented itself before everyone, spacious enough to accommodate 1,000 people. The vault hanging high. The 4 walls were all integrated pitch-black rock, polished exceptionally flat and smooth. Except for the tunnel opening they came down from, there were no other portals around. Like a huge stone box, everyone's gaze, instantly firmly attracted by the giant murals covering the 4 walls. The murals were outlined with some kind of dark red mineral pigment, lines ancient, vigorous, and unconstrained, full of barbaric aura. They were not depicting human stories, but 4 giant demon beast bodies that almost occupied the entire wall. On the wall directly facing the tunnel entrance, were 6 hideous, knotted, giant feet covered in barbs, claw tips sharp as hooks, as if able to tear the earth. On the right wall, was a huge, giant claw covered in dense scales, claw tips curved and flashing with cold light, exuding a heart-palpitating ferocity. On the left wall, were 3 pairs of transparent wings as thin as cicada wings, but edges sharp as knives, patterns complex, as if able to stir up a hurricane that tears space at any time. On the last wall, facing the giant foot wall, actually a huge and hideous insect head, compound eyes like countless cold obsidian stones, mouthparts opening and closing, fangs interlocking, exuding a terrifying aura of picking and eating people. The murals, although from a long time ago, colors somewhat dim and peeling, but that vivid spirit, that ferocious aura rushing toward the face, still made everyone in it feel an invisible pressure. The person who opened this space, the depth of his intention, is astonishing. What kind of demon beast is this? Wang Xiao looked up, voice carrying a hint of terror. Such ferocious murals. Zhou Ming's brows locked tightly. His gentle face was also full of solemnity. These 4 murals seem not to be carved at will, more like some kind of mechanism pivot. Everyone immediately started carefully studying the murals, trying to find clues to open the portal. However, the 4 walls were smooth as mirrors. The murals themselves, except for being ferocious, did not have any obvious runes or spiritual energy fluctuations. Qin Gaowu circled the giant foot mural twice, spitted impatiently. Pa, looked and can't see a bird's thing. According to old man, don't care what mechanism or not. Smash this broken wall directly. There must be a road behind. Impossible. Lu Changyue's cold voice sounded abruptly, carrying irrefutable obstruction. This place is the ruins of a nascent soul great cultivator. How could it be without defense? The ferocious aura of the murals is so heavy, forcefully breaking the wall. Fear of invoking the killing array. We will all be buried here. The smoke and clouds around her body rose slightly, clearly already gathering mana to be on guard. Qin Gaowu's movement stalled, although full of resentment, but the movements in his hands stopped. Could only indignantly say, then you say what to do? Just stare blankly in this broken stone room? Zhou Ming also said in a deep voice, fellow Daoist Qin, don't be restless. Elder Lu's words are reasonable. This mural must have mysteries, just we haven't seen through it yet. Lu Amo stood slightly behind the crowd, seemingly also intently observing the murals, but in reality, his nascent soul-level divine sense had already been like invisible flowing water, gently brushing over every inch of rock, every engraved trace on the 4 walls. There is no restriction obstruction here. Even if there were, it would have nowhere to hide from his nascent soul divine sense. Very soon he probed a clue. He thought this way in his heart. The ferocious aura of this mural is condensed and does not disperse, vaguely constituting an ancient and complete force. Absolutely not ordinary decoration. Forceful cracking. Must suffer backlash. It is somewhat interesting. Lu Mo smiled coldly in his heart. He wanted to see what Nan Zhen was waiting for. Just when everyone was deadlocked and hesitating, Nan Zhen, who had been silently observing, gaze firmly locked onto the insect head mural, in his eyes actually revealing a kind of indescribable excitement and fanaticism. He took a deep breath, voice carrying a trace of unnoticeable trembling, but exceptionally firmly opened his mouth. Everyone, stop arguing. This beast, named Six-Winged Demon Mantis. Six-Winged Demon Mantis? This name to Qin Gaowu, Wang Xiao, Lu Changyue, and even Zhou Ming, was extremely unfamiliar.